been a pattern for the last 2 years. So once these girls have, they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that the dude does is stupid. Any kind of abuse.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it working now? I had to go out and come back in, so I'm hoping that that fixed whatever the problem was. It's good? Okay. I just want you to know that I don't ever touch anything on this computer. I don't change any settings. I don't know, you know, what makes it Oops. What makes it decide that it's going to change itself? I don't do anything to it. Just turn it on and turn it off, and then there you go. Okay, so let me just do this show. This show has been such a long time coming. My apologies to the people who, their letters got missed because what Candace did was there were some in here, because this is like 2 weeks late, that had like dates associated with them. And so she took them out and replaced them with more recent letters because whatever they was talking about, it already happened. So there's no point in rehashing that old stuff. We can't really help them because they already made a decision and did what they did. And so there you go. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just have no clue. One thing I do see though on this cover page is there's 30 questions. So I guess you call herself trying to make up for the fact that I missed a week. So what we'll do is I will do as many as I can do because I'm still kind of dragging. That's what happens. Like even though you're well, you know, the week and a half that I didn't really eat that much, you get weak. And so that's been the problem. I've been exhausted. So let us do what we can do. It's good to see everybody. Yeah, Joy say it only works when it works, and that's right. That's exactly what happened. So let's get down with this. Let's see what these people are talking about. This is a young lady who's in the 22 to 27 age group. She says the summary of her issue is, am I wrong for taking things slow? I met a guy that I really like, and we had an amazing first coffee date that lasted 3 hours. Wow, that's impressive. For the past 2 weeks, we've been talking every day. And next weekend, we're planning to watch a movie at his place and have dinner together. He even offered to cook for me. I said yes because I generally enjoy spending time with him, but I don't want to have Nook Nook yet. It just feels too soon for me. So they had one actual date talking on the phone. I just want to chronicle this one actual date that lasts for 3 hours, and then they've been for 2 weeks talking every day. Okay. The next day she's going to over to his house. Okay. It just feels too soon. I say, I'm worried that he might expect things to go further since it's at his place. Does taking it slow make me prudish? Am I doing something wrong? I really like him. I just want to move at a pace that feels comfortable for me. Well, what you were supposed to do is tell him, okay, this is where you're messing up. Not to say that this is a guaranteed thing, but the implication is if you're willing to go to a dude's house, you're not really dating, it's not your boyfriend, it's nobody who's like a childhood friend, a relative, nothing like that. You meet some dude on the internet and you gonna go over to his house and eat food that he prepared. You don't know what he's putting in it, and you don't know what his character is, and you're gonna be vulnerable and in his house by yourself and pretty much at his mercy. That is stupid. Now, I know a lot of girls do it and they say, oh, well, nothing happens by the grace of whoever, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, all of them. That's why nothing happened to you. But there have been a whole bunch of women who we never heard from them again, or they had come back with a story to tell, and it's not a good one. So, what I suggest, if you really want to take it slow and really spend time getting to know a guy, you do not go to his house. You do not let him come to yours. You meet out in public where there's lots of other people. You watch your drinks. You watch your food. You listen carefully. You ask them pertinent questions, not, well, what color do you like? What book do you like? What's your favorite movie? That's stupid shit. You're trying to get in with how a man thinks, what his moral code is, what his values are, what he's doing in life, where he been, where he's trying to go, where you might fit. I'm not saying you do, where you might fit in. Because sometimes in those conversations, you can find out that a dude is so focused on his career, he's just looking for somebody that he can have regular hookups with. He's not really looking to invest anything emotionally or financially or in any kind of weird way. He just wants convenience. So, if you take your time, you talk to the dude, you spend time looking at his face because you got to be able to read body language and expressions and all this kind of stuff. Then you'll find out pretty much what you need to know. And I'm concerned that I mean, you did realize that that might be something, which is why you wrote in. But I'm telling you, you're making a grave error in judgment. This is technically your only second date. First real date, coffee dates. I call those meet and greets. I don't really call those dates. It's a meet and greet And then the date, the first, this is the first date right here where you're going to be spending time with him, and he wants you to come to his house. And you met him on a swipey thing, he's assuming that you down with the nook nook. So you need to cancel that. Okay, cancel that call and say, I rethought that. I really don't want to send the wrong message here. I'm not really trying to put myself in a position where I'm close to your mattresses or a couch. If we're going to go out and we need to go out somewhere in public. Not saying you have to spend a lot of money, but I'm not comfortable being in your house with you by yourself. I don't know. I used to never go to dudes' houses. I just the one time I did, oh my God, this and it was just such a disaster. Something told, and this guy was harmless because he just, you know how you get an energy. He didn't even know about wines and stuff. I think he was from somewhere in Africa. I forgot where he said. And so this is when I'm at University of Houston, and so he lived, not too far from me. So he's like, oh, come over. So, I was young and stupid. I went. And so he's supposed to have this wine for me. So he has the wine and had a cork. And he didn't know he didn't have a corkscrew because he never had wine before. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, oh, this is not going anywhere. And he bought it for me though. I mean, he got exactly the kind I told him I like and all. So he was good there. But he had to go to his neighbor's house to borrow a corkscrew to open the bottle. He thought it had a screw top, which I guess now they do have a lot of bottles and screw top, but we're talking about in the late 80s. There's no screw tops on wine yet. That didn't happen until about 10 years later. So I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. Yeah. Let's move on to question number 2. This is a young man in the 28 to 34 age group. Summary of issue. I've hit a snag and I need some help. Hi, Deb. Hope you're well. I need advice on my relationship. I've been in a relationship for the last 6 months. I'm in my early 30s and she just turned 40. Oh, an older woman. Okay. Everything is mostly good, no arguments, and we both want the same thing. But I've hit a snag in my head. We both want children. However, since she's 40, we thought trying sooner is better than waiting. We've researched everything and made plans, etc., and have been actively trying for maybe a month. In my head, it didn't feel rushed, as the relationship feels right. Feels like first actual adult relationship. Then things happened which has made me consider how I move forward. I believe in marriage and I have mentioned it numerous times, not because I want to get married right now, this second, but because if we are committed enough to be considering children, then marriage is something I believe is the final phase to me settling down. The snag is that she was married in the past. She's 8 years older than me. So when I was 20, she would have been 28. Her marriage was maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I never talk about it as I really don't want to. I never thought I'd date someone who's been married before, but I'm learning to take people as they are right now. Anyway, anytime I mention marriage, she will say something like, we haven't reached that hurdle yet, or it isn't in the cards yet, so why worry, or you haven't even proposed yet. Then she will say if we aren't married, she can still qualify as a first time property buyer. I'm not here to persuade someone to want to marry me in the future. It's something you need to organically want. She 100% wants to have kids, yet marriage is a sideshow. She will also say, well, yeah, we can consider it if it's important to you. Anyway, I have battled hard and worked on myself not to think about people's past. However, in this case, I'm pretty sure she isn't fussed about marriage as her first marriage failed. That is the past impacting me, even though I didn't judge, but it's for my personal growth. The second issue is that 2 days ago I got upset and I'm still upset. I'm someone who doesn't speak about my issues much to anyone, and I told her about my issues at work. I run my own business, which have happened recently and over the past few months. They've been like a weight around my neck as the issues are things which are quickly resolved. She said to me that it's tiring listening to negativity. Wow. Especially as she's in a low mood herself. She suffered bereavement last year, and she can't be my therapist. We had a 3-hour discussion about this, so I never asked for advice or for a therapist, just telling someone I'm supposed to be in a committed relationship with the issues I'm having right now and why things are the way they are. I then said I won't ever talk about work again with her, and she got offended. But hey, this is how I feel. Deb, how do I go forward in a positive way, or do I? On the surface, things are fine, but now I'm worried that if we have children, these background things may get worse. I'm going to suggest that you rethink this. Now, let me tell you why. It's not because of the age, and it's not necessarily because you guys want kids and aren't married, although that's kind of a part of it. Young man, what you're doing is you're trying to put yourself in a position where you're ignoring your values and your morals. You said marriage means something to me and you wanted to have it before you have children. So then what the fuck are you doing? If this is really where your morals are, this is important to you. This is your value system. You want your kids to be born to a Mr. and Mrs. Then what are you doing? Are you getting where I'm going with this? You have to be true to yourself in life. Whenever you deviate from what you want to be in your world, as far as what's right and proper, is when you get in trouble. It's a gross error in judgment. You should never do that. There's too many people walking around right now with all kind of emotional issues, self-esteem issues, confidence issues, and things because they did not do what they know was the right thing to do. So when you do that, then you stop trusting yourself, you start hating yourself, you start doubting yourself, and then it's like a slippery slope to low self-esteem and all kinds of other horrible things. So I want you to rethink this. Don't see her and rethink what is it that you want. Okay? What do you want? You sound like you want a wife before you have kids. You do want children, but that doesn't mean you want a baby mama. And you definitely don't want to have kids with a woman who has no empathy for the issues concerning the loved ones that she has. That means if she has a kid that's got a problem or something, she's gonna be like, "Oh, suck it up. I don't want to hear that. Go deal with it," or something like that. Something rude that damages children because they don't feel heard. This is a red flag. I hope you. I mean, I know you see it, but you don't really see it. You're not looking at the long term implications of someone with this kind of attitude towards someone they're supposed to love. Wrap your stuff up. Don't you sleep with her again. And don't you even think about trying to have a baby with this chick. You probably need to break up here. I'm thinking that's probably the best solution. This is not this she ain't the one. She's not the one. Do you guys agree? I mean, just think about the partners that you've had. If you have somebody who shuts you down and tells you that they got their own problems for somebody that died last year, bitch, please. And then we at the end of 2025 and this person died in 2024 and you still tripping, use that as an excuse? No, you don't get to do that. And this is his numbers. He listened to her problems, so why can't she listen to his? So it's an unequal relationship. It's unequal emotional investment. What do you guys think? So you put your comments in the chat. I'd be interested to see what you guys are saying. That's my 2 cents. Question number 3. This is a young male, 22 to 27, summary of issue. I had a first. I was talking to this lady who's 20 years older than me. What? Over a Facebook dating app over the course of the day. We talked on the phone earlier in the day, but we never met yet. At 10 that night, I got another call from her and she asked me if I wanted to come over. Oh, mhm. Since calling someone up that you haven't met yet that late and asking them to come over is really strange, I asked her if she was wanting to have Nook Nook with me tonight. Uh huh. I like her thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So she said, "No, I don't do that." So I told her that most of the time when women call me up this late asking me to come over, that is exactly what they want. She tried to turn it around on me and say that I think that's what you want. At that point, I ended the call and promptly unmatched. I get that a lady isn't wanting to look every time she invites a guy over, but it's really odd that she would ask me to come over that late if that isn't what she's looking for, especially a dude that she hasn't even met yet. And who knows, she was very possibly looking for a Nook Nook, but just didn't want to admit it. But I don't want to take time getting ready that late at night only for it to be an innocent, "Hi, how are you?" face to face meeting. Anyways, that was something new for me to be called up that late by a lady I hadn't met yet, asked me to come over. I just wanted to see what you thought about it. I'm sure it wasn't a situation where it would have turned into an unsafe situation for me. Well, see, you know how I think. Or else she would have said, "Yes, I do want to have Nook Nook." What do you think was happening? I think that you was just a little too real for home girl. So you say you and your she's 20 years older than you, so you in your 20s and she's 40. So, she probably hasn't been used to dealing with somebody who's just so direct like that. To say, "Oh, you want to sleep with me?" And it might be like her first time trying to do something like that. She was brave up to that point to call you, but not brave enough to follow through. Whereas if I call some dude, I'd be like, "Yeah, and the clock is ticking." You better hurry up, stop at the liquor store and give me some wine and bring your ass over here. See, but I don't have that but that little shy level. But that I most likely I'm thinking that's what it was. She was brave up to a point that you hit her, you just was like just like bam right in her face with it, and she couldn't know what to do. she she's battling with herself to come off as being like a floozy, even though she was interested and curious about you. She wasn't ready to go, to admit it yet. So you did the right thing. Uh, you a little bit too much for homegirl. I don't think she was ready for you yet. So that's probably the best thing. Woo! That's this little boy. Question number 4. This is a young man, 22 to 27. Summary of issue. I use a coupon on a first date at a restaurant. Was that a bad thing to do? So I found I had a coupon for the restaurant I was going to, and I used it on the first date to get 30% off the food. No, you didn't. Does this look bad or is it fine? I mean, I think it's smart, and I would hope a girl wouldn't mind. I did tell her about it, though. She seemed fine, but I didn't get a second date, although I'm fairly sure this was not the reason. What do you ladies think? What do you guys think? I think that that was very much the reason. I'm gonna tell you, dude. Okay. You want to use a coupon? Let me put you up on some game because I did that one time. I told one of my guy friends, "Oh, I'm gonna take you out for your birthday," and I had this. Somebody had given me a gift certificate to Jack's restaurant. It used to be down in Jack London Square. I don't know if they're still down there. But anyway, it's like a seafood restaurant. It's like they had Scott's and they had Jack's. And so, it's pricey. It's thin. I had like a $50 discount coupon thing. And so what I did was I went and I made the reservations in person and I gave them the gift certificate. And then I told them, okay, I'm going to give you guys my credit card number. And then I want you, when it's time to pay the bill, just bring me the thing and I'm going to sign it. And he's never going to see it. So he's not going to know how much I paid. Right. And so that's what I did. So I used the gift certificate that somebody else had given me on him. I mean, it was fine. I ate too. And then just paid the rest. And so he just thought that was just so smooth. He's like, "Oh, I've never had anybody do that before. They paid in advance." I'm like, "Hang with me, kid. You see all kind of shit you ain't never seen before." But see, that's how you have to do stuff in a way that you're just not on Front Street like that, because it's just your first date, and you use a coupon. It comes across like you just so uber thrifty and it's like a tightwad and I mean she's not going to perceive you as trying to save money for the benefit of you guys as a couple as she would if you guys were a couple or a married couple or dating or engaged or something like that. You're going to have a different perspective because you're saving the money here but you're going to spend it on your wedding. You save the money here, you're going to spend it on your honeymoon. You save the money here, you're going to go on a camping trip. I mean, there's an investment there, a we-ism about the relationship. You just your first date and you start whipping out coupons, you know, he ain't financially sound, he just cheap. Well, I thought the same rules applied because I have brothers. So we didn't have all that girls do this and boys do this. My parents delivered one message to all of us, and we all got the same thing, except when it comes to like wearing skirts and dresses and stuff, they didn't get that, of course. But as far as like how you handle yourself in the world, we all got the same message. So I'm gonna do stuff the way that I was taught, which is not to use a coupon on a first date. You just don't do that. And so I did it that way. Yeah, it was extra time because when I was leaving work, I had to go over there to Jack London and park on the street and pay the meter and walk down there and, have to do the thing and go back to and then get back on the freeway. I mean, it was extra work. But to save $50, I sure did do it. I sure did. And it just like he was just so impressed. And I was just cracking up because I thought, oh, if you only knew my cheap ass. So yeah, that's how you have to do it. So just think about how you could have done that differently, sir. And you especially shouldn't have just sit up there and told her, oh, I have this discount coupon. You don't do that. Oh my God, these little boys. Question number 5. This is a young lady, 22 to 27. Summary of issue. He broke up with me, but now wants to come back. Well, I'm gonna give you before we even read what you got. I'm gonna tell you this: a man leaves you, that means he don't want you. He want to come back, that means it's because his dick is hard. He wanted you. So what you supposed to do? I don't even know what you're talking about. Wah, 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 I can't even hear you. You don't let men leave you, dump you like that, like you trash, and then come back. You don't never do that. That's gonna mess. That's where's your pride in yourself? You wasn't good enough then, so why you good enough now? Okay? Did you think of that? So let's see what happened here. I'd like to ask for some advice. My boyfriend of 10 months recently broke up with me, but then wanted to come back, and I agreed. He claimed he was sorry and that he wanted to fix things and that he did it out of anger. Perhaps I naively believed him because I'm his first girlfriend. He's always been sweet to me, buying me gifts, asking me how I was, telling me he loved me greatly, that he wanted children and marriage. He helped me return to university and recover from my previous breakup and depression. I agreed to go to therapy because he insisted. Now we're living together. But we're very different. He likes to surround himself with his university female friends, whom he texts a lot, and his male friends as well. I only have one female friend, and she lives in a different city, and I have no male friends. I used to be very jealous about his female friends, but with time, I accepted him texting them regularly. However, I set a boundary. I don't want him to hang out with them alone. He doesn't like the fact that, as he calls it, I'm interfering with his free time and relationships. He says he can't go out with a male friend alone because I always want to tag along. He wants to go out with male friends at least once a week. Girl, you don't have no business going on dealing with some dudes like that. What the hell is wrong with you? I have trust issues because I'm afraid he'll say he is going with his male friend, but he'll actually be with a female friend. So that he'll cheat on me without me even knowing. If you don't know, then what's the problem? These girls are in relationships, and it's possible I have no real reason to worry, but I still feel uneasy. One of them suggested to him to go abroad for an internship together during the summer because she didn't want to go alone. But he said he was going to the States with me next summer. I think it's strange she'd suggest something like that to a male, quote, friend when she has a boyfriend. On such a long trip, they'd probably spend the majority of their time together, which builds emotional intimacy. Wow, you have so much free time to waste thinking about stupid shit. Okay, and you wrote all that stuff. Okay. Um, He says he likes his gamer's lifestyle. That's his passion. He needs a lot of rest from me, and he said that's he feels overwhelmed by me. So why even suggest we move in together if he's so tired of me already? He once called me names when we argued, such as princess or his mom. His friends and family also say I'm controlling. He told them about our problems. On the other hand, my friends and family are on my side, and most will agree with their family and friends, I guess. I wanted to go to couples therapy, but he already gave me an ultimatum. Either I stop controlling his free time and relationship or we end it. I don't know how to talk to him anymore. It's like talking to a brick wall. And there's constant attacking back that I'm the problem. If he can't face these problems, what if we have kids or a mortgage? I don't know if he cares about me or if he's into me or if he cares about us both feeling good in this relationship. I told him this and he claims he does. Otherwise, he would have dumped me a long time ago after finding out that I'd been kicked out of university. Ooh. What should I do? Is there even any point in trying? Is he looking for an excuse to break up because he's bored with me? Do people these days just want to replace people instead of fixing things? I don't know if the problem is me or if he's just unwilling to put in the effort and has other priorities than our relationship. I feel like he's just shown me that he doesn't love me. Does he even care? Yeah, he cares, but that's why he's still with your stupid ass. Because otherwise, he would have dumped you. Let me tell you, if this was me, the first time you try to tell me what I can't do or where I can't go and who I can't hang around with, we would have broke up on the spot because I don't do that. You don't tell me nothing. It's like if my own parents didn't tell me, who the fuck do you think you are? So, this thing, you thinking that you're not controlling, I don't want him to hang out. You have all these rules. If he goes with his male friends, you want to go. If he goes with his female, no, you can't go with your female friends. It's like you have all these rules and stuff to make you feel better. And you're talking about, how can we fix this and how can the relationship make us happy? He's never going to be happy with you because you're too insecure and controlling. And you don't need it. My thing is this: if you just dating somebody, you don't need to go to couples counseling. You go need to go to like breakup world. That's what you need to do. That's why you're single. Single means you go around and you date different people until you find a person that fits and it clicks. If you have to go to couples therapy before you even get married, then that's a sign that you are with the wrong person. You don't invest money in something like that, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's never going to work. Okay. Marriage counseling is for couples who are invested in each other, who have made a serious, like emotional, legal, and financial commitment to each other, that have kids, that have property, that have blended lives. That ain't for somebody that you've been dating for a year or less, or two or less, or whatever. That's a mere boyfriend, girlfriend. You just exchange them for the next one. Okay. And I know people get mad at me because they be like, well, you just act like relationships are disposable. They are when you're single. That's exactly what they are. The problem is what you guys try to do is you confuse boyfriend, girlfriend, temporary situation with husband and wife, which those are temporary enough as it is. But at least it's, the level, the standard, gold standard that we use to indicate commitment and investment of time, energy, and effort and emotion in somebody. That's our gold standard. Now, does everybody meet the gold standard? No. Some people silver, some people bronze, some people ain't even in the game. They just, I don't know what they're doing. But you sitting up here just dating somebody, you're doing too much. Okay. Now, for you, there is no point in trying because what you want, your focus is on. You say you can't talk to him anymore. It's like talking to a brick wall because what you want him to do is do what you want him to do, and he's not going to do that. So you feel like you're talking to a brick wall, but what you keep doing is trying to control him. And he's saying, no, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to let you control me. So you see it as it's talking to a brick wall, but in reality, he's just standing up for himself and telling you, you on your last leg now. You try to control shit, which I know you're not going to be able to resist. So most likely by the time we doing this letter today, y'all already broke up because this shit, some of this is 2 weeks old. I would guess that you're probably already broken up. So let's move on. Question number 6 of 30 questions today. 30 questions. This young man, 18 to 21. Sorry, issue. How do you date at a normal pace when someone moves emotionally way faster than you? I've been seeing this young lady for about a month. He actually said girl. Well, they're 18 to 21, so this is like the tail end of girlhood. And she's great, funny, kind, actually listens and plays zero games. The issue is the speed at which she's moving. We've been on maybe 5 dates and she's already talking like we're in a relationship. Not pushing for labels, but saying things like, I can't wait for our first holiday together. Or my friends already love you. And I barely know what her coffee order is yet. What's throwing me off is that she's not being clingy, just excited. But for me, excitement takes longer. I warm up slowly. It's not that I don't like her. I do. I just don't fall head first instantly. And now I feel like I'm lagging behind her energy. The other night, I was budgeting for the weekend. I remembered I have some money saved up in case we plan something nice together soon. And instead of feeling excited, I felt pressure. Like if I plan something too good, I'll accidentally confirm expectations I'm not ready for yet. Mm. How can I communicate I like you, but I need to move slower without it sounding like I'm not into you? I don't want to ruin something good. I just want the pace to stop stressing me out. Well, tell her that. To say, I noticed the other day you said, hey, Millie, I noticed you said, your friends already love me and all this kind of stuff. And to me, that's making me feel pressured, like you moving along a lot faster than I am emotionally. I want you to slow down. If you can't slow down, you're going to do that thing that our parents used to call scare the man off, because I'm looking at you like, what is the rush? Why all this pressure and using these words that sound like, forever after, happily ever after, when we just met, we just started dating, we've only been on 5 days. So you have to, slow her down. But see, this is the game. This is why players do this, and they do this really well. So they meet you, right? They ain't gonna bust the grape. I mean, they ain't about that dating life and trying to be with you. They not doing that. So what's gonna come out of their mouth early on in the getting to know you phase, when you say, oh, what are you looking for? Or something along those lines. You might not even ask them. They just gonna volunteer and tell you. I'm not looking for nothing serious. I'm just enjoying being single. I'm enjoying being a bachelor. Um, I've been hurt before, so I'm not really ready for a relationship yet. Oh, I mean, they're gonna have some reason why and probably usually several reasons why they can't give you a committed relationship right now, or as fast as you want one. They have some healing to do. They have, they ain't their money ain't right. There's gonna be some barrier that they put up, and they do it right away. Do it right away. And usually there's more than one, like I said. So you already know a woman who's astute, who's been around the block a time or two, not like you 18 to 21, y'all don't know nothing. But you've been around the block a time or two, you hear this kind of conversation come from a man's mouth, you already know what time it is. This motherfucker ain't about shit. He's not gonna do nothing except maybe some mattress work. That's about it. Some giggles and key on the phone and stuff like that. But if you're looking for any kind of sensible adult relationship where there's commitment and progress and a future involved, he's telling you right off the bat that I ain't the one. So this guy, the way that I mean, she's gonna interpret that that's what you're doing, but you have to be very specific. I do want, yeah, I do like you a lot, but I'm starting to feel pressured by all this conversation that you're using. It's making me feel like you're way ahead of me emotionally, and so the relationship is getting unbalanced. And once things get unbalanced like that, one person starts feeling pressure. Once they feel too much pressure, they just ease out of the relationship. Is that what you want, or or can you slow down and see what she says? She might ask you, "Well, what does slow down look like?" And you tell her what slow down looks like to you. Okay, I know what it looks like to me, but I'm not gonna put them words in your mouth. You're gonna have to figure that out yourself, how you could communicate that to her. Okay? Because obviously she likes you a lot and you say you like her too, but you're just moving slower. You're like me in relationship. The dudes always be like, ready gung ho and all doing the most, want to talk to you on the phone all day, stay on the phone all night, call you, text you, all the stuff. I'm like, I have stuff to do. I mean, I want to just look out the window and spy on my neighbors and stuff. I don't want to be on the phone with you all the time. I have important things to do, like nothing. But yeah, it gets really interesting when people move at different paces. It's unfortunate. Thank you, Miss McGillicuddy. She just said, Deb, it's the truth. It's like, yeah, some people can't handle it though. Question number 7 of 30 questions. Candace Butt just loaded me up with questions today. This is a young lady, 22 to 27. I noticed she didn't put no locations this time. I guess because I was rushing her. He's asking for my number is the summary of the issue. A new guy I recently started dating is asking how many people I've been with before him. Ooh. We have not been intimate yet. He is pressuring me to tell him. He says that he just wants to know in case I change the number in the future. Uh, Stop seeing him immediately. I declined to tell him, and we haven't talked in a few hours. I know he is not going to let it go until I have told him. You're not going to tell him. If you fall for this, you stupid as hell. To be honest, I'm not telling him because one, I will not be entirely honest and I don't want to be put in a position to lie. There was a time I was at the lowest point in my life after losing all my savings, and I had spontaneous nook to just feel something different from the distress I was feeling. Number two, I no longer sleep around. I've changed. So I don't feel like my past should follow me. And number three, I read somewhere that asking for body count is a sign of manipulation. Exactly. I've greatly been manipulated by men before, by narcissistic men, and I'll be damned if I ever tolerate one again. So I don't know if I'll be falling for a manipulative man if I give up the body count answer. I've never really had a guy ask me how many people I've had nook with, and I've never asked a guy either. This guy is really good. We vibe, we connect, we really have feelings for each other. It's like I just met my dude. Yet the request of my body count could be a major hindrance. She put a whole bunch of question marks. So I have two choices: lie with a low number or stick to not telling him. He would probably assume that I'm a S word if I don't tell him, and he will not forget it or let it slide. So, yes, my dear sisters of the squad, I'm seeking your advice on whether I should lie with a number like 3. Yes, that's what I tell you all the time. And we move on. Or should I stick to not telling him at all and be dumped? If he doesn't dump me, he will be disturbed by it. Who gives a fuck what he's disturbed by? He's stupid and a loser. But let me tell you this. Say five, Giggle say 500. I always say, you know what? I would always tell men 3. You know why? If I told them anything else, because usually I just tell them it's none of their business. But if I decided to just toy with them, I would say 3. Now, why did I say 3? Because in my mind, a woman only remembers 3 lovers. You remember the most recent one because you still doing it with them. You remember the first one because that was your first and it's gonna be in your memory forever. And you remember the one who like knocked it out the park, right? The one who had you clinging to the ceiling and screaming for Jesus and God and everybody else to save you. Okay, them three. That's it. Everybody else fades to black. We don't remember them clowns. It's like, what? Who? When? Why? Where? I don't know who you're talking about. So it's like that. And when I realized that I was hanging out with this girl, okay, I was the slow girl. I had like a couple of boyfriends and did it with them, but my count was like super low. And so, but she had like just dibbled and dabbled and everybody had a turn. But she was a cool person. I didn't trip on what she was doing because I wasn't trying to sleep with her. But I realized one time when we went out and we was at some mall. Where were we? I don't remember. Some mall. And anyway, some dude walked up to her, right? And he started talking to her and he was asking about her twin daughters and stuff. So he knew her. I mean, he knew the kids by name and all the stuff. And so it was obviously, he wasn't just talking smack or just some dude trying to get at her. He actually did know her. And so she couldn't remember. She didn't have a faintest idea who he was. So she sit there uncomfortable, and kind of chit chat with him, but nothing specific. Oh, I've been good, the vague stuff like that. Well, I need to go because I'm with her, and we got, so we that ended it. We bye bye. But when we left, she said, "Girl, I don't know who the hell that man is." I said, "Well, girl, did you at least remember where you met him?" She said, "No." That was like, okay, here I am, all of 19, 20 years old, and I remember that that's when the light came on for me about, it's three: the most recent, the first, and the best. And that's it. That's all you should ever admit to. I don't care if you're 900 years old, it's just three. Because those are only three that counted, right? So why the other ones are just miscellaneous random motherfuckers from who cares where they came from? Because they went back there to Never Never Land. You were like it never happened land. So that's, but generally, I feel like if a man is asking this kind of question, he's doing it because he wants to get ammunition to use against you. And therefore, you don't say anything to him. You just say, I don't think that's any of your business. I'm not going to ask you where your dick has been, and I don't want you asking me where my coochie been. It's not your business. What you need to worry about is what you're going to do with it now. And just challenge him just like that. And if he does anything, says anything else, any kind of questions, any kind of judgments and stuff, then you say, "Oh, okay, we're done here." And then you just, as you're walking away, you reach in your phone and you block him. And then you get in your car and you drive the fuck off. You don't deal with men like that. Because if he had any kind of cojones, what he would be doing is like, it don't really matter who was there before, because the only one you're going to remember, I'm going to be in that slot number two. I can't be first, but I'm going to be the best. That's what he should be striving for, to replace that memory by how he puts it down. Now he ain't gonna do that. He gonna sit around crying like a little bitch about it, how many men, tried to make a mark. Well, then I don't know what to tell you. I can't do it. I just cannot stand insecure ass men. I just can't do it. Let's move on to question number 8. Female 35 to 42. Males also 35 to 42. Summer issue. How do I let down my ex easily who wants to meet up after 10 years? What? You get out of prison now? Deb, I need help. And she put hella exclamation marks. My ex and I ran into each other a couple of months ago. And after that, he added me on social media and immediately asked me to meet up, quote, as friends. I turned him down, saying I don't feel like feel like rehashing the past. But then after a while, I ran into him at a party and we all hung out together during the party. Afterwards, he tried chatting me up again, but I ended the conversation by liking the message. Oh, so he said this is text. All right. Now he's asking me again to meet up and refers to the party where we hung out and claims, quote, everything went well, end quote, but I just don't want to meet up. I also feel like him explaining himself as to why it shouldn't be a problem confirms that there's probably some lingering feelings there for him and it's not just friends. But I don't know what to say and how to let him down easy. Help me. All you have to do is, okay, first of all, I'm trying to figure out why you accepted a friend request from him or shared your social media accounts with him. That was a bonehead move. Okay, all your shit should be closed and private. So the only people that know how to find you on the internet are people who are your family and friends. If you're not using the social media to make money, Your shit should be private. Nobody should be looking at all your pictures. Nobody need to know all your business like that. What the hell are y'all doing? You want to have a present, but your present's supposed to be for your family and friends. You don't want your coworkers knowing everything that you're doing. You don't want your exes to know what you're doing. Your jealous ass, busybody, nosy, messy cousins to know what you're doing. You have your pages should be private. Okay, you should do that. People should have to ask you for permission to come into your world. They shouldn't just be able to invite themselves like that. Y'all just way too free and easy with the information about yourself. All you young girls be showing up just missing and shit all the time. Stop doing that. Be more discerning. Be more careful about your safety and stuff, your business, even your identity. It's just appalling to me in light of all the stuff that happens in the world that y'all would just be so like, doing stuff like that. You're not even thinking. So in this case, that was you. You did that to yourself. Okay, so now you want to have a problem and talk about, well, now you want to get rid of dude, but you invited him into your life like that. That was stupid. Okay, so what you're gonna have, the only thing you can do now is say, look, you're gonna send him a message and say, look, we dated 10 years ago. That was enough for me. Okay, I've moved on. I want you to do the same. It was okay to see you at the party and stuff. I suppose we'll see each other in various social settings, but we're not going to get together. I'm not ever going to get together, and I don't want to talk to you on the phone or on social media anymore either. Once I see that you've received this message, I'm going to block you to make sure that that happens. Good luck. Goodbye. Good luck. Good riddance. Whatever you want to say. Good something. And then you move on with your life. It's not that hard. I don't understand why you're so worried about it. You know, somebody want to meet up after 10 years. Motherfucker, eat shit and die. How about you do that? That's 10 years. Mm-mm. I don't even remember you after 10 years. Question number 9. This is a female, 18, I'm sorry, 28 to 34. Summary of issue. When guys say they're, quote, not ready for a relationship, end quote. I saw a meme today that said, in your 20s, you'll find a girl who's beautiful, kind, caring, generous, and thoughtful. It's important that you tell her that you're not ready for a relationship. Wow. That was triggering for me because the last 3 guys I've dated, each for about a month, have ended things kind of abruptly, saying they're not ready for a relationship or telling me that they just don't think they bring anything to the table or that I have my life so figured out and they don't, so they need time to figure it out. Okay. So you was dating some losers and the trash took itself out. I mean, why is this problem? One said he just felt like I had already lived so many things and that everything I needed, word for word, quote. I remember asking myself, I'm getting so much out of this, but what is she getting out of it? Then he said that he's been struggling at work and thinks he should just focus on that and his friendships before getting back into dating. He has never had a serious relationship and had said previously that he only had one relationship longer than a month. Okay, so he's a commitment avoidant. The other is a door to door salesman. Do people still do that? And said he just felt like where he is versus where he wants to be in his career is really off, and he wanted to focus on that. He didn't think he could give me the time I deserved. He actually said he hopes he can talk again in the future when he's figured out his career. The last one and most recent one said that he thought he was in a better mental place and getting closer to a relationship has made him realize that he needs to focus on his mental health. He said he's financially and mentally not in the place he needs to be for a relationship with anyone. All of them seem to be leaning the complete opposite of the last time we hung out, telling me that I'm perfect, that spending time with me is the best part of their day, etc. They all have almost all cried when telling me this and would tell me how happy they were with me, how beautiful, smart, and kind I am, etc. They all texted me or told my friends after that we were really sad. Is this just the old, it's not you, it's me, but there's actually something wrong with me? Are there men out there that are ready for a relationship? By the way, I'm a 29-year-old female, and 2 of the guys were also 29. One was 24, and then she put a grimace face saying, I never date that young, but we had been friends for a year and he seemed ready. No, no, 24-year-old ain't never ready. 29-year-olds ain't ready. What you need to do at 29, you need to date dudes like in their mid 30s. Okay, stop dealing with dudes in their 20s still trying to figure out which end is up. Not that the ones in the 30s are that much better, but you have a better, the odds are better. Okay. So remove that. If the dude's not at least 34, you're not gonna fuck with him. Okay. Now the second thing is what I'm gonna tell you, and a lot of dudes want to deny this. They don't do well with women who got their shit together and who are accomplished and focused. You probably make more money than them. You're more polished than them. You've done more. You've been more places. You've traveled. You just like light years ahead of them. You run circles around them. They know this, so they know that there's no way. Like if somebody came along who was more on your level, that he could keep you. So what they do is they do sound in advance. That's what's going on. You're taking it as there's some kind of indictment of you. That's not what's going on here. What they're feeling bad because they know just by conversations with you, the level of conversation that you have, the way that you think, the things that you've accomplished, probably the car you drive. I mean, whatever else is going on, you are way ahead of them maturity wise, financially, career wise, everything else. They're not a match. They know this. So they remove themselves. Like I said, the trash took itself out. So I want you to stop thinking about like there's something wrong with you and that's why they did it. What you ran into some men who realize that they ain't about nothing, they ain't ready for prime time, and so they just deuced out. They don't want to get their feelings hurt by trying to reach above where above their station to try to hold on to a woman who is totally out of their league. So, you don't have the big head about it yet. And I mean, it's not really a good thing to get a big head and think, well, I'm all that. And, what you bring into don't do that. And it doesn't sound like that's you. But I'm just explaining to you the male mentality. They want to feel like there's something that they can do for you, that they can teach you something, that they're in some way better than you, so that you look up to them. That's ego food for men. And if there's everything is the tables flipped so that they would be admiring and looking up to you, that makes them very uncomfortable. They can't do it, especially these real young ones. Older dudes, they don't give a shit because they in their 40s and 50s. They tired. They ain't trying to be the one that's always leading and having people look up to them. They like, shit, let me pass this baton so I can sit down and put my feet up in my easy chair and watch the game. They're at a different level of maturity and life experiences than someone in their 20s. And that's you dealing with this. That's why I say you need to up to the 30s where guys have gone through that phase already and they're on the downstroke to 40. Yeah, and they try to sabotage. I mean, the real insecure ones will then start to try to sabotage what you've got going on to bring you down a peg or two so that they feel better about you because then they can point to you and say, well, yeah, you ain't perfect. Well, look how this and that, you fucked up this part here. And then, you ain't all that kind of thing. That gives them a feeling of, you're not as good as you think you are kind of thing. And it's not all of them, don't get me wrong, but there are guys out there with this mentality and that is exactly how they will treat you. They will say, they will drive your car and say you got a nice car, you got a BMW, but he drives a bucket and then suddenly he in an accident in your car. And since he ain't on your insurance, guess who on the hook to pay for it? Not only damages to your car, but to anything else he damaged too. So these are kind of things, you have to watch out for. They be trying to hit you for money. We supposed to be in a partnership and this and that because they feel like and they don't have to pay it back or they want to move in with you and they want to help pay the bills because well, you was already covering them before I got here. So what you do, well, why do I need to pay anything? There's all kind of things like that you will come out and I've seen it all, like all kind of shit happen. Those are just a few that popped in my head. But the source of all of those is the woman is doing better than the guy that she is with and he doesn't know what to do with that. Okay. Question number 10. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. Summer issue. Am I horrible? Am I horrible if I don't go on a second date because of how he ate? Wait a minute. This sounds like it's going to be good. Let me get some water. Okay. So we went to a nice fancy Italian restaurant for the first date. We're both 27, by the way. I usually don't do fancy restaurants on the first date, but he insisted. We got free bruschetta at first, which he completely refused. He tasted one olive, made his face, and spat what he was chewing out into the napkin. Okay, now all of us like everything. Okay, that was really gross. But then the main course arrived. He ordered a pasta dish and wanted to split a steak dish. He ended up, you know, they white because black people don't split food. We don't do that. So he ended up separating the vegetables from his pasta to a separate plate and just ate the noodles. For the steak of filet mignon specifically, he decided to ask for extra butter and easily used like half a stick. It's not just the picky eating, that alone would have been enough. But he also smacked his food, ate with his mouth open, slurped the pasta, ew. Plus, they had a dress code, and he showed up with sneakers where the bottom was literally falling out and you could see his feet. Wait, what? But he want to go to a fancy restaurant? He also had sweat stains around his shirt. So yeah, an all-around etiquette problem. Oh my God, that's beyond etiquette. I'm no Miss Manners world champion myself, but if this is how he presents himself on the first date, I cannot imagine being in a relationship for 5 years and how he would choose to behave in situations like this. I don't know, Deb. It just grosses me out. I don't discriminate people with special diets. They could be kosher, halal, vegan, vegetarian, allergies, even intermittent fasting or low fat diets. I completely understand. But a grown man who eats that much butter on his meat and avoids anything that's a vegetable on his plate just completely turned me off. I thanked him for the date. I paid for my share and I went home. He has texted me wanting to see me again, but I just don't know what to do. Is this a reasonable deal breaker? Also, how the heck do I tell him, yeah, you cool, but you don't eat vegetables and your etiquette is underground, so no thanks. You don't have to say, you don't have to just say all that. All you have to do is say, I enjoyed meeting you, but I don't think we're a match. And what's the word that people say, oh, I'm just not feeling a connection. I'm not feeling a connection. That seems to be the standard phrase. I see that all over the internet. I'm not feeling a connection. Everybody knows what that means. It means eat shit and die. Get out of my face. Don't call me again. Forget you ever know me and ever knew me, ever called me, ever matched me, and just go away. That's what that means. But I'm not feeling a connection. Yes, it was pigpen. It's just, yeah. Yeah, pigpen had flies roaming around, coming and flying after him and stuff because of the fumes. Oh my God. Yeah, this is just really weird. This is really weird. How oh, you rewatch the lives after work, but I'm on earlier today. Usually I don't start till what in the middle I start 6. But I decided to start earlier today because I be sleepy now. With this time change thing. I've been going to bed at like 7 o'clock, like an old person, and then waking up at like 3 or 4 a.m. and stuff. It's still dark outside. I'm like, wait, what is going on? What's happening in my life here? My clock is all thrown off. But girl, this you did good to stay on the date personally. I mean, by the time he started spitting stuff into a napkin, because I mean, it's short of it being something that you're allergic to. And usually, they have drinks with the little bar napkin. You don't spit into your cloth napkin. You might put it into that little paper napkin. And that's, like I said, it's the only thing is if it's something that's rotten, spoiled, or something that you discovered. You took a bite and you say, oh no, it's such a nut and I'm allergic or something like that. Then you spit it into the nut because you got to get it out your mouth. You got to get it out your body like as soon as possible. Before you have to 911 gets involved. But it's like, just because you don't like an olive, kind of weirdo is he. So I'm with you. I would deuce out on that. Yeah, I just can't. I told you about the dude. I told y'all listening. I know Giggles and them probably know remember this. We tell you about this. And this was way when I was in college, and I went out with this dude to the Atchafalaya Cafe in Houston. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it as long as I live because I ain't never seen no shit like that. But they got the shrimp. They give you a little shrimp cocktail, right? And they put the little shrimps and stuff. And then they put them in a, they're you have to peel them, and then they dip them in a little cocktail sauce and whatnot. So they don't give them to you already peeled. They put them on a, in a bowl or whatever, and you have ice, and then you peel them, and then you dip them in the thing. So, but he didn't want to peel and peel his. He just popped the whole thing in his mouth and then he put the little tail part out and put that down. And then he was just chewing and it was crunching and them little squiggly legs and stuff. And he just ate the whole thing. And I was just sitting there just looking at him like, wow. Because, I had never seen no shit like that. I'll never forget as long as I live. Do they still have the Ashfly Cafe? I know there's some people here from that live in Houston. But the food was good. The food was bomb. But that I'll just never forget that. I just could not. I can't be with you. Plus, he was when he chewed, it was terrible. It was all around. Like I hardly could eat my food, and you know how much I love food. I could hardly eat because I was just so fascinated by the way he just destroyed things and his lack of couth. I mean, like the girl said, I'm not no Miss Manners myself. I mean, I like to put my elbows on the table and stuff sometimes, but I don't know. I just couldn't do. I couldn't get with it. Question number 11. This is a male. Okay, I don't feel bad about myself now, Mika. Lisa say I broke up with someone because they ate the gristle off the chicken. Girl, you just like hang around with some Africans. They eat. I mean, it don't be. I mean, the bone barely be left when they get finished with the chicken wings. It's just amazing. But yeah, yes, honey. Whew. Question number 11. Anyway, this guy's 42 to 49. Summer issue. She admitted that she lied about her age. I met this girl who's actually a really nice girl, and in her profile, her age was down as 39. Okay, wait. What is this with grown men calling women in their 30s and 40s girls? Do you motherfuckers realize how insulting that is? These are grown ass women. They are not girls. Okay, that's your mentality. You need to not date until you get clear on what you did, what you're doing. This is a 39-year-old woman. You know, Leandra, oh no. Between Leandra and Gills, my life is over. My life as I've known it. This is unbelievable. We have been seeing each other for 3 months now, and the relationship is developing well. I did ask her about her age early in the dating phase, and she said it's the same as in the profile, i.e., 39. But recently we were planning to go away, so she said before we booked the trip, I need to tell you something. I lied about my age. I'm actually 49. I was taken aback and said I need to think about this. And she said, why? It's not that big a deal, just a number. I did say that this is not lying about a couple of years, but actually 10 years. She said it's because I look young for my age and I don't want someone that looks old as my dad. And I have dated younger guys who have been fine about it. I'm a 44-year-old male, by the way, and I set a strict dating app filters from 35 to 45 as I find girls a bit younger than me attractive, and I would not have matched with her at the start if I had known her true age then. Okay, so you found her attractive even though she's actually 4 years outside of your range, enough for you to go spend time with her and date her. But now it's a problem. And it's not like your ass is in your 20s, you on the downstroke to 50 and sit up there talking about this like it's a big deal. Okay, I'm not for the people lying, but I'm just noticing you're 44 and she's 49. I'm trying to figure out why you think somebody who's only, what you put down, 35, why would a 35-year-old want to deal with you? Okay. Why would a 35-year-old woman want to deal with a 44-year-old man? What's in it for her? Oh, old ass. Sit down somewhere. The difficult thing is that everything else about her, i.e., her attractiveness, her values, her good heart, her connection with me, and personality, etc., are all so good a match with me. But now knowing this massive 10-year age thing is a big thing for me to accept, especially now. I know she will be 50 next year. So you'll be 50 in 6 years. What the fuck difference does it make? A lot of people also tell me I look young for my age. Am I being superficial and very shallow as I've even thought? Oh my God, her teeth may fall out soon. Getting older, etc. Is this bad of me or should I see just the inner beauty or is this a big red flag? If I continue the relationship, I'm not sure if I will stop thinking about this. I'd like to add that we are both very clear in wanting a long-term partner and neither of us are interested in a short-term fling or anything like that. You're too stupid to be with her. You know what you're going to do? You're going to this woman that you have all this connection with, you're going to break up with her because of the 4-year age gap. And then you're going to go and date around and find out that every other woman that you meet is stupid, they selfish, they don't have no mind, they got drama, baggage, kind of goofy stuff going on, baby daddy drama, all this other nonsense. And then you're going to be saying, oh no, I fucked up. I had the woman that was perfect for me, and I messed up because I just could not adjust my life to 4 years when you're in your 40s. Now, 4 years, like say, like a 18-year-old and somebody in their early 20s, I might be like, 4 years, like a 21-year-old and a 25-year-old, a 25 and a 29-year-old, you in your 40s, my brother, you old, in case you forgot. Okay, old people can be together with a 4-year age gap. It's no problem. But he now notice how he keeps calling women girls. That's the part, this is mentality. He's looking to feel young and vibrant by who he's associating with. So the fact that she's 4 years older than him is fucking with his image of himself as being, you know, still looking young and still got it kind of thing. That's what this is. It's all about his ego and his perception of himself as a man. He hasn't grown past when he was in his 20s mentally, as he's still, stuck on stupid. So, for her, it's if she doesn't know how he's thinking, I guess she'll tell her. But once he does, I hope that she dumps him. And that'll serve him right. And then he can be miserable for the rest of his life looking for that same kind of connection that he had with her that he dumped over 4 years. And like I said, you in your 40s and down to up to 50, both of you, 4 years is nothing. In your teens, 4 years is a lot. In your 20s, 4 years is a lot. It starts being less of an issue when you're in your 30s. By the time you're in your late 40s, it's not an issue at all. 50s, forget it. It's probably a good thing because women live longer than men. Yeah, he's very immature. Girls. Like I said, he's stuck on his mind is stuck in his when he was in his 20s or teens. Question number 12. This is a male 35 to 42. Some of issue. What do I do now? Is this doomed? I've just started seeing someone, and after making an inquiry, I learned that the landlord of my leasehold property won't allow her dog to stay overnight, quote, as it would set a precedence, whatever that means. He says, girl, I'm changing it to young lady. What is it you do? 35 to 42-year-old men calling women girls. This is just bothering me. I've seen previously said that it would be unfair to me to always be coming to her. We live an hour apart. But now I'm realizing that this might be a case of having no choice and always having to be at hers every weekend, which always being the guest. It's very discouraging to think that she would only ever be able to spend a few hours at mine and never stay the night unless she got a dog sitter. Okay, what kind of fucking dog does she has that can't stay by itself overnight? What kind of dog is that? We used to leave our dogs for the whole weekend. We went up to Clear Lake. We had a place up there. We didn't always want to bring the dogs, especially during rattlesnake season, because we didn't want the dogs to, take a chance to get bit. 'Cause, they like to run around. They want to dig in the bushes and go down. And there was just like this gully on our property. They had like the best blackberry and blueberry bushes down there. We would want to go down. And my dad said, "Oh no, you're not going," because I mean, you could just hear them, like rattling and stuff around in the. They like to eat the berries too, and then all the little mice and stuff would come, because the berries and then the snakes never had to do no work. They just lunch, dinner, snacks, everything just served right up. So we could never get them berries, and I used to just I'd sit there and look over in that little gully and look at them berries just all fat and juicy, and no, I could never get them. But so our dogs, we give them some food and put out some buckets of water and stuff, and lay out the little pee pads and stuff, and leave the door open so they could go in and out to the backyard and do their business, and then that would be it. We come home and they'd be fine, happy to see us. So I'm not really understanding. Uh, you thought they ate grass. Oh, so I don't understand why her dog is so special and can't stay overnight by itself. So you need to ask her that. I mean, just like with kids, by the time they get a certain age, you can leave them overnight by themselves too. But she can't leave her dog. Her dog had to go everywhere with her. I don't know what to tell you. She sounds stupid. Question 13. This is a female 20 to 34. The male's 35 to 41. Summer issue. How do couples navigate mismatched bedtimes? My boyfriend of 2 years is upset that I can't match his sleep time. He's 35 and I'm 28, and we've been together a little over 2 years. We started living together in August. We've had a recurring conflict about bedtime. He wants us both in bed by 10 because he needs 9 to 10 hours of sleep. My sleep condition limits me to about 6 hours of sleep exactly. If I go to bed at 10, I'm up at 4, stuck tiptoeing around, unable to leave the house. I'm disabled and I don't drive, or start work without derailing my whole day. Plus, I need some decompression time at night to reset my brain. Reading, watching something, just coming down from the day. So, realistically, midnight is the earliest it actually works for me. Some nights I could get in bed with him an hour or so earlier, but I'd just be lying there until I can take my sleep meds at midnight, so I wouldn't want that every night. I suggested he could go to bed earlier some nights and I'll join later. He was furious. He claims that couples should always go to bed together and that waking up at 4 should be great for productivity, and I should be happy about that. I feel like I'm losing my grip on what's reasonable. Do I just need to accept a 4 a.m. wake time? Is it absurd that I'm not excited for that? How do we resolve this? You move back out. That's how you resolve it. I mean, it's, you was dating the dude for 2 years. You didn't know that he was weird like this before you moved in? So y'all never spent the night together before in 2 years, and you never knew that. I'm trying to figure out what kind of big ass baby, and this is what I would tell him, what kind of big ass baby needs somebody to be in the bed with him so he can go to sleep. You go to sleep, and I'm gonna go to bed at midnight like I normally would, so I can get up at 6, and then you can get up at 6, and then we'll be happy because we'll both be getting them down to sleep that we both need. I'm not going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. It's too early for me. And if you don't like that, I can move back out. So either you're gonna get with it or I'm gonna move out. And then you're still gonna have to get with it. Because you're gonna be going to sleep by yourself. So you can go to sleep by yourself if I'm not here. That means you can go to sleep by yourself if I'm here. You see where I'm going with this? Either you still live there and he go to bed by himself, or you move out and he go to bed by himself. So you ask him which one would you prefer? To wake up next to me, which or for me to not be here, period. Because we can make either one of those, we can make that happen. That's what I would tell him. Yeah. I mean, I can't even deal with a dude, them dudes that be snoring real loud. I can't do it. Can't do it. So I used to like my he didn't snore. He did not snore. I mean, like 1 or 2 times he snored, I knew he was really super like exhausted, tired. And he snored, but it was like a little cute little like kind of snore. It was like a little kid or something. And I thought, oh, how cute. But it wasn't that like room shaking, window rattling kind of snores that a lot of dudes do. Mm-mm. I don't know, girl. That's what I would tell him. He would get you get two choices. Either you go to sleep at 10 o'clock with me in the house, you go to sleep at 10 o'clock with me living in my own house. Which one do you want? It's gonna be one of them two. And stick to your guns. If he says no, 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 then you start just go online and start looking for apartments that you gonna move into. Right in front of his face so he can see you're serious. Question number 14. This is a female, 22 to 27. Sort of issue. He told me that he is bad at Nook Nook. Oh. He just gonna put it out on Front Street? Yeah, snoring is like, mm-mm. I met a guy on a swipey thing. After a few messages, he told me that he isn't looking for a hookup and he wants a real relationship. Besides, and I quote, I'm very bad at Nook Nook, so I don't like it. Wait, he doesn't like Nook Nook or he doesn't like that he's bad at Nook Nook? I felt so sorry for him. I tried to tell him that I'm sure he could fix his problem. He said that I'm very polite and a rare girl for reacting like this. Anyway, we started talking and it went very well, but I couldn't forget what he had told me. Later on, he explained to me the issue, and I realized that if we ever had Nook Nook, I wouldn't enjoy it. So I explained to him why my concern, quite honestly. I told him that when he begins a conversation with such a statement, how does he expect to have something further than a friendship? What would it mean for me as a woman to be okay with no pleasure within the relationship? At that, he became furious. He said that I should have told him when he first informed me that it would be a deal breaker. I felt so bad. I enjoyed our conversations. It was awkward to tell him anything before I was ready, but at the same time, I felt bad because it's as if I strung him along for no other or no reason. I'm very sad. Okay, I don't know what she's talking about. After not receiving any message, I deleted my account. But that site wasn't really my thing anyway. But right now, I am very sad because I didn't want to hurt him, and I did. He seemed like a nice guy, and maybe it was a need for validation, pity perhaps, but now I've made things so much worse for him and his psychology. Am I a bad person? I've never had a guy confess his problems like that, and all I want to do is help him. God, you're dumb. Gosh, you're just dumb. You the dumbest thing. Cause people not typing, giggles. They not. It's not that many people. It's only 40 people in here today instead of 240. It's only 40. Cause I keep shoving. It's my fault. When you do the show on a regular day and time, people know when to come. I haven't done that in months, and then people, it'll build back up. Just be patient. I'll get my shit together eventually. So let me tell you the game that's being run here. Okay. So a guy you just met on a swipey thing tells you that he's bad at sex. What? I do. I don't know how that happened. Oh, maybe because when I went out and had to come back in. Oh, that might be what it is. Well, anyway, this is the one I'm doing. So, oh shit, I didn't realize that would happen. Interesting. Well, tell him to come over here. Let me put the link. Wait, where's that link at where you invite people? Hold on a second. Nope, that's not it. This is where I is. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry I got sidetracked. I didn't know that it would do that. I thought I'd just pick up where I left off because everybody still seemed to be here, but I guess not. Okay, well, let me move on. Okay. Oh, that's right. I was talking about the game. Okay. So you meet a dude on the internet, right? On the swipey thing, which normally is the hookup sites, right? People looking there for a hookup. This dude comes with the game that, yes, you're in the right chat, Joy. This is this is the real one. The real show is here. I'm not sure what's going on. Um, so what the game is, see, they tell you that, they're bad at it, and you say, "Oh, I'm sure you can get over your problem." Now, the next phase of the game is you supposed to volunteer to help him. See, just like your mentality where you are like, "Oh, I just want to help him. I want to help him resolve his problem," and this and that, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff here. You know, you just want to help him. Helping a woman saying that she wants to help is falling into category of being nice. And on this channel, I tell women all the time, nice needs to die. You don't go be nice to men. Okay, you be nice to your dude. You be nice to like your parents, your siblings, maybe your boss on occasion if they act right, your peers and stuff. But do a man that you don't even know on a swipey thing and you are just all emotive and invested in his pain and you want to save him and you want to fix him and all that stuff. Women who have that mentality are gonna be always played because you stupid. You just like a victim. You walking on a target on your forehead. And when guys can see that you have that kind of mentality, you're so easy to play. You get played all the time because you don't have enough sense to rein in your emotions. You don't want to understand how to do that. Look on this channel, do a search of the channel. The video is called Control Your Emotions. Watch that. That is the foundation to being able to deal with men in any way, shape, or form and to maintain your dignity, have your self esteem in check, and everything else. You got to control your emotions as a woman. That is the number one way for you to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do in this world and protect yourself. Okay, so in this case, you finally by you saying, well, well, you want me to give up any pleasure. See, you went off script because the idea he's looking for a woman who's going to sacrifice herself in, and her pleasure in an effort to try to fix him. That's what he's looking for. He just wants somebody that he don't have to do no work for, to try to bring her along and make her enjoy the situation, because he already told you he's bad at it. So, right? He already told you. So if you go and lay down with him, a man who already told you he can't fuck, then nothing happens, with the magic don't happen for you, then you have nobody to blame but yourself, because he can always say, "Well, I told you I was bad at it. What do you, what did you think?" See, so you just become like a vehicle for him to bounce up and down on and get his release, like a blow up doll, except you don't nobody had put air in you. It's the same principle. That's what you would be there for. So this whole mentality that you have about being nice and, I didn't want to hurt him and all this, like that motherfucker wasn't hurt. You tripping. But you better stop being so naive. You're gonna be messing around with these dudes on these dating apps and stuff. mm, That you doing too much. Okay. Let's move on. Question number 15. Oh my God, I'm only halfway done. This young lady's 22 to 27. Summary of issue. I have fucked up friends. Two of my two of my closest friends are getting married and texted to me that I won't be in the bridal party because my abusive ex-boyfriend is going to be a groomsman. For this story, I'll call my friend Mark and his fiancee Ann. We are all 25. I have been close friends with them for 9 years and are getting married soon. We've gone on trips together. We're part of a shared friend group, and Mark and I grew up together. Almost 2 years ago, my ex boyfriend and I separated after years of toxicity. I was with him for a long time, and obviously, he became part of my friend group too, though Mark was friends with him before we got together. My ex SA'd me on more than one occasion and was emotionally abusive. Oh boy. I grew up in a bad situation and I'm neurodivergent, so I haven't always handled noticing and getting out of abusive relationships very well. I was combative back and got very mean over the years in response to the abuse, making the relationship all around toxic until we finally split up. I never talked about his behavior, or okay, so they from the UK somewhere, though the relationship, because I knew it would look so bad, people would tell me to leave him. Afterwards, it took a few months, but I started to tell people. My friends were shocked and apologetic, but they continued to stay friends with him. I've distanced myself because of this, as I never felt comfortable with them trying to be neutral in the situation, but didn't want to ask them to leave him alone. But yesterday, Ann texted me in the middle of the day to tell me that my ex will be a groomsman. In her words, her and Mark don't want the day to be uncomfortable and awkward, quote, for both of us. And because of that, she decided not to put me in the bridal party and hopes I understand. It's not that I didn't see it coming or that I felt entitled to be in their wedding, but I think part of me expected to just be told it was a space or capacity issue, if anything. To be explicitly told I would have been in the party, but my abuser comes first, hurt. And on top of that, my entire friend group will be part of the bridal party except for me, which feels humiliating. And to have it sent over text on a random day without even an apologetic tone, I don't know. My loved ones all think I should just not go to the wedding and distance myself at this point. Part of me agrees as I feel betrayed and disrespected, but I also don't want to be petty over wedding stuff, and I don't really have any other friends of my own. I just feel really lost about the whole situation. Deb, should I stomach it and move on since obviously I'm not entitled to be part of anyone's wedding? Is it time to cut ties? Absolutely. From my perspective, this is what I'm saying. The one who did the dirt, who hurt you, the criminal, the abuser, is being preferred and is celebrated and invited to participate, whereas the victim, which would be you, is being punished. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? He's getting all the kudos and funds and getting to go to the parties and get part of the brand's gonna be in the pictures and all this little stuff here. Whereas you, the one that he hurt, are being punished. It should be the other way around. He shouldn't be allowed to be in the bridal party. It should be you. So what I'm gonna suggest is that if they send out formal invitations, you click that box decline and send that shit right back. And then they're gonna be like, well, why aren't you coming? Because it's like because you picked the person who hurt me over me. I see no reason to be affiliated with people who think it's more important to uh to have him participate than it is to have me. I was the victim, but I'm the one being punished. So fuck all y'all. And that's what I would go through my phone and block them all. And you say you don't have any other friends, but of course you don't have any other friends. You haven't made an effort to make any because you've had them. But now you can see that they aren't really the friends that you thought that they were. Friends have your back. Friends are there for you. Friends don't betray you. So these people are not your friends. So you saying, "Well, I don't really have any other friends." You don't have them either. So in that essence, you don't have any friends. So your slate is clean. You can go and start over with some other people. You can go join some organizations, go to fitness classes or something, the group X classes and stuff. Go to creative writing classes, something, do something, whatever your interests are, and you will make friends with people that are participating in the activities that you enjoy. You know, do it like that. So you go to a yoga class, some of the ladies are there, you guys, oh, I'm really trying to establish some new friendships. How do you guys feel about going and having coffee and let's getting to know each other? And they'll be like, "Oh, that sounds nice." Because people, I mean, if you approach them nicely, they're most likely to be open to that. And then you guys can sit down, you can have coffee, tea, whatever, a little sandwich or some shit after the class, and you sit there and talk about what you do, what your interests are and stuff, where you went to school, all the kind of basic shit that people like to talk about, and then see where you guys have some common ground. It might not work out for that particular group of women, but you would at least start the ball rolling to get yourself out there and meet some people who are going to meet you at the level at which you are now. You in that age group. I'm telling you, 22 to 27, that age group where you start shedding friends like snakeskin. You right in there. So it's time for you to get rid of this group and move the fuck on from these people. This is crazy. All your friends, yeah, well, there's something to be said about boomers. And I tell you one thing is that boomers ain't taking no shit from nobody. You talking about some savage folks. It's like, yeah. Question number 16. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. The male's 20 to 34. Type of issue. My boyfriend will not stop asking me to repeat myself, and it's driving me insane. How do I handle this? I've been with my boyfriend for over 7 years. He does this thing where I would say about half the time I try to start a conversation or say something to him, and he says, "What?" I know it's not at the volume at which I'm speaking that's the issue. And when I ask for his attention before speaking, he doesn't ask me to repeat myself. So that tells me that he isn't just paying attention until I ask him to. It's absolutely driving me insane and making me resent him a bit. What should I do? I tried talking to him about it, but he says I saying I mumble, which I know is not true. I think he's just trying to shift blame. What I would do is learn sign language, and then I would start signing him. And then he'd be all fixated in trying to figure out what the fuck you talking about. Say, well, since you don't want to listen to my words, I decided to do it this way. Either that or you could, or you could just write notes. Get you one of them little portable chalkboards, or they have apps actually, on tablets. They have apps for people who are mute. And so, and I know what they was I love you. I mean, I know a few little things, but they have these apps, and so um type on it, or you could talk, I think, and it appears on the screen so that they can read it or something. I forgot how it works. But anyway, it's an app and the message will pop across the screen. So then he'll have to, zoom in and look at it. And then he'll be like, well, why are you? Yeah, but I want it to be big so he can't act like he didn't hear the ding or something. I want her to be on a big old tablet and she put it in his face with a message on. Don't talk, I wouldn't talk to his fucking ass ever again. He would be like begging me to say some words to him. And I'd be like, no, because you don't listen. And I'll put that on the screen. No, you need to talk to you since you don't listen. So we'll be communicating this way until one or both of us get sick of it and we break up. Let him mull over that. Yeah, like a exactly. But it's an app. I saw it on Google Play. I thought, oh, this is great. This is good stuff here. But that's what I would do. I would wear him the fuck. You know how I do? I like to be petty. Okay, first of all, wait, let's stop. Let me rewind. Do you know who is the god of petty? 50 cents. That is my fucking idol. Dude is such a savage. Everything, okay, like he was beefing with, I forgot who the musicians were. He was beefing with them. They were trying to tell him some, something about his music and started talking about himself. He went and bought their studio so they don't have no place to make their regular music no more. I just saw that online the other day. And then with Diddy, to get Diddy back, he went and made that video. It's on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna do it probably tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. And then he could ever, and then he went and made, he had to hunt around to find which TV stations broadcast in prisons. That's the station he went on to do the interview to make sure Diddy saw him talking about his ass about the documentary on TV. I was like, oh my God, this man takes Petty to a whole new level. And then how he had went and bought a house next door to Diddy so he could spy on him and stuff and watch all his parties and had recorded videos. Like they said it was thousands of hours of video of all the goings on at Diddy's house. And they couldn't say nothing because 50 was at his house and he was just looking out the window. Oh, it's good? Okay, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. Yeah, and Marlon Wayans' brother saying, don't mess with him. That motherfucker got shot 9 times and he's still here talking shit. Get beef with somebody that we could beat. I've been following it because 50 I've been fascinated with him since he came on the scene. But I tell you, that dude is like, he's just a savage. I would never mess with him. I like to consider myself pretty savage too, but I'm nowhere near his level. Like he just gonna buy the whole studio out from under the people. They can't even go in there. I was like, wow, that took it to a whole new level. So let's look at this. Let's move on to the next question. There's 4 episodes. Okay. How long is each episode? Tim, what are you doing? I'm doing my show and you playing music. So it's 4 hours. Okay. Let's move on then to question number 16. I mean 17. This young lady, 18 to 21, the male's 22 to 27. Time of issue. He says he can't commit because of his past, but I'm in love with him. What do I do? There's this guy I really like. I'm 20, he's 23. We've known each other for about 7 months, and our chemistry is honestly amazing. We're similar in so many ways, but still different enough that it just works. He matches my energy perfectly, and I develop really strong feelings for him. At this point, I can't imagine a day without talking to him. He's on my mind constantly. I love him, and I don't see myself with anyone else. It feels like he's completely taken over me in the best and the worst way. But here's the problem. He has severe PTSD from his last 2 relationships. Here we go. Remember what I was saying earlier about how they players set you up to make sure they don't have to give you nothing in a relationship? He told me he's been broken down to his knees emotionally, and he doesn't want to lower his guard or enter a relationship again. He said he likes me, he's attracted to me, but he cannot commit, and he's not interested in relationships at all. I feel completely stuck. I don't want to lose him. You don't have him to lose. I don't want to miss out on someone who feels so right for me. He's not right for you. He already told you that, but it's tearing me apart. Should I keep holding on and risk getting used and discarded? Yeah, if you're stupid. Do I not deserve a chance at something real? You do, but not with him. How do I even handle this? You wise up. Slap the fuck out of yourself and wake up. I really need genuine advice because my heart is breaking. You just a fucking drama queen. I cannot with you. Yep. I know he does. It's just a man. And Vivica, what's her last Vivica Fox said that he's just the one that she can't ever forget. I remember her climbing over fences from the neighbors trying to get to that boy. I'm like, okay, what kind of dang-a-lang is that? I'm scared of that. So it's just something about that man, and he's not cute at all. He's bugged. He's not cute, but it's something about his sense of humor. I understood Jimmy Kimmel was like, "Oh, say something nice about Ja Rule. He's alive." I thought I was gonna die laughing. I don't even know what to say. I'm just highly impressed by this man. He's just too funny. And the fact that him and Eminem are good buddies, like almost besties, is really interesting because I really like M too. And when he first came on the scene, I was like, wow, this little white boy is doing big things. He's different. He's special. He's unique. And he hasn't broken that trend yet. So yeah, I don't know too much about the music industry, but I do those that I really like. I kind of keep up a little bit with what they got going on, just so I can see what magical, wonderful things they have done lately. So yeah, this little girl right here though, back to the subject at hand. This boy don't have PTSD or nothing. He's just setting things up so that you will be emotionally distant because the way to get a lot of you women, uh, focus on the guy is to put himself just out of your reach so that you have to strive and feel like, he's like a goal, something that you have to conquer. And so you're going to put a lot of energy and time and investment in trying to get him to change his mind. And he's already told you it's not going to happen. So anytime, anything that you do with him or that you give to him or, sleep with him, whatever, is all going to be on you because he already told you he can't, he's not about that life. You don't want a relationship. So even if you sleep with him, you don't get up thinking that you got a relationship, you're gonna get him to change his mind. He's gonna get up and say, well, that was nice, but let me go do, back to my life of not being in a relationship. So remember, I just said that. He don't want to be in a relationship, enjoy being single, he's enjoy being a bachelor. Those kind of phrases are what they use. And those are men are telling you that they just about, that thing. That's all they're interested in. So let's move on. We got question 18 of 30. This young lady's 22 to 27. Summary of issue. Dealing with my boyfriend's female friend. My partner has a friend who he's been friends with for years, and at one point was more than friends with. Oh, okay. On a few occasions, she has made comments to me about my weight. Okay, so this used to be somebody he was dealing with, and she talking to you about your weight. The first one was after her and my boyfriend had an argument. After her and my boyfriend had an argument, and she started talking about a woman that she seen in the club, referring to her as massive and a hippo. Then pointed at me and said she was as fat as you. Her boyfriend told her that she was being harsh, whereas my partner didn't say anything. Wow. The next times were on the first day of a holiday we all went on, where my partner joked about how many calories I'd be consuming at an all you can eat buffet we went to, as I had been trying to stick to a calorie deficit. And she said she doesn't skinny shame you, so don't you calorie shame her. And her boyfriend was looking at her like he knew what she was wanting to say. The other occasion was when we all sat at the caravan and she asked me out of the blue, do your thighs clap together when you walk? Wow, this girl is a bitch. Again, it was her boyfriend who told her that she was being offensive, but my partner again didn't say anything. I have since spoken to him about it, telling him that I'm annoyed with the fact that he won't defend me and hasn't asked her to stop. He said he is annoyed about it and didn't know what to say to her. And I told him if any of my friends were to be rude to him like that, I would say something to tell them and tell them they weren't being a good friend. I told him if they ever travel to the area we live in, and they stop at his flat. They used to live with him and left some sort of their stuff and their cat of his for him to look after. Then I don't feel comfortable visiting and being around her. The other weekend, he told them they could stay at his place, and I got annoyed because I wanted to visit him. I've been advised to give him an ultimatum and tell him that he needs to choose between me and her. At first, I didn't want to, as I didn't want to put him in that position or come across as controlling, but I've been assured it isn't controlling. What it is this girl is disrespecting you, and she's doing it with the full knowledge and consent of your partner, because the fact that she feels comfortable enough to do all that in his face, she's in competition with you. So whatever they used to have, despite the fact that she still has this other boyfriend, she's still wanting his attention and his focus to be on her. So in order to do that, she has to make herself look like she's better than you by putting you down. She wants to appear, like she's the best choice in your boyfriend's eyes. So what she's doing about her behaviors, not only is she disrespecting you, she's disrespecting your boyfriend, and he's too stupid to understand that, and also her man, and they also too stupid to understand that. So it's like, all three of y'all is stupid because not one of you has checked that bitch. You haven't told her shut the fuck up. You talk to me about that again, I'm gonna black both your eyes. You haven't said anything like that to her. But there's no way in this world that somebody should be allowed to talk to you like that 3 different times. And you don't say nothing and you don't do nothing. Just snatch that bitch by her hair and say, oh, you want to see some clapping around here, it's gonna be my palm against your face. And that's gonna make a nice sound, loud clap. And then I could proceed to slap the shit out of her. Yeah. I just don't understand what's going on here. It's like, she just a little bitch, and y'all is three like wusses, just standing there letting yourself be disrespected and you being verbally and emotionally abused. Your best bet would be to leave this boyfriend alone because he's not about you. He don't care about you. He doesn't care. She was pretend like he cares, but he doesn't. Okay? Just understand what time it is. Yeah, that's it. 'Cause, after all this time of being around her, there has to be something about her like that you could rag on back. If she rag on you, you can just flip that script and talk about her back. It's like, was your slides clapped together? No. But they good and nice and thick and they wrap around your man's waist real good. Ask him about it. And he said how good it fit. It was very better than what your little skinny ass could do. Things like that. Question number 19. This is a male 28 to 34. Summer issue. I feel like my generation isn't made for long-term commitment. I don't really have a question. This is more of a rant, but I would like your opinion. To me, the 2, 3, or 4 year mark are when most relationships tend to end. Because you should have been married by then. This generation doesn't have the grit, resilience, dedication, and commitment it takes to sustain a relationship long term. When you're in a marriage, that is supposed to be a commitment, and that means you don't end things because you don't feel the spark anymore, or y'all are having a rough patch, or because you don't feel like being committed that day. Love is an action, not a 24/7 feeling. And I think that's why all these relationships are ending because people keep chasing a high. It's just something that I've noticed and come to realize. I think it would be rare to see a happy, successful 10, 15, 20, 30 plus year relationship or marriage these days. What do you think? Yeah, and part of that is the society that we live in. Before the world moved slower. I when I was a little girl, I used to have a pen pal. She only lived in Marin County, but I met her at a Girl Scout camp. And we would write letters to each other. So, pre-cell phone days and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I could talk to her on the phone, but it just the letters worked better. We would send each other little, things, pictures and stuff like that. And it was nice. She's a little Asian girl. And I just really enjoyed, interacting with her and talking to her and stuff. So we did that for a year, then we went off to camp the next year too. And then after that, I don't know, things kind of fell off. We became teenagers and things changed. But for that whole year, we wrote letters back and forth, and it was fun and it was different and it was exciting because you had to wait for the letter to come to see what was going on, and then you write your little letter, and then you go put it in the mailbox. So things were slower. There used to be, uh, like they in dating sites, they had like, it was a newspaper rather, and you would have to write in the letter, and they would forward it to the person. Then they developed a phone one. So I mean, all of these things, before fax machines, you had to send letters in the mail. So these kind of things, the world is speeded up, everything's sped up. And so the expectation now is around instant gratification. Notice how many people write this column rather, complaining that people aren't interested because they don't text back within seconds. Have you guys noticed that? They want you to like have your phone in your hand and text them back as soon as they text you. Otherwise, they interpret that as lack of interest. Like nobody got a job, got to be in a lecture hall, you know, in a church. I mean, getting a job interview, have in a meeting at their job. I mean, but nobody has a life other than just to sit there and text you. That's the part that I find so shocking. So these have these whole generation of young people that expect instant gratification. They want everything now. They want to meet you. They want to sleep with you on the first date. They want to, have a committed relationship within 2 or 3 days. They want to nail something down. They want to have a label. I mean, everything is speeded up. And to me, there's a lot lost with that. Yes, I mean, it might be satisfying some part of your lizard brain. I don't know what, but the unfolding, the gradual process, the excitement, the buildup, and it's not there anymore because everybody wants everything right now. They want it right now. They text you to death, they call you on time. It's like you can't, and if you don't respond to them, the way that they want you to, then they just dump you because they feel like you're not interested, even though you are. You just going at a slower pace than them. It's just a nightmare. It's nightmare. Yep. So I think that's to me is what I noticed changing. Along with the speed of communication came the speed of expectations. And I don't think it's doing us really any good because the style of communication now that the texting is cryptic. So people like you go out and you try to have a real conversation with somebody, people can't even really talk to you because they're used to texting or 260 character, you know, messages on a site. It's just really odd. The way that our society has changed is just very, very strange. I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a good thing. I just don't think it. So, and communication is key if you want to have a long-term relationship. You have to be able to talk to each other. You have to understand it. You have to be patient. And the way our society is structured today, the patience part is just not there. So let's move on. Question number 20. Young lady, 20 to 34, some of issue. I didn't know relationships could feel like this. My boyfriend never doesn't stop flirting with me. I generally don't think, didn't think that was something that could last in a relationship. My previous one was, to put it simply, toxic. My ex used to say things like, I already have you, why should I flirt? As if once you're official, the effort just ends. But with my current boyfriend, it's different. It still feels like the beginning stage. He keeps flirting, teasing, complimenting me, making me blush for no reason. And instead of fading with time, it feels like he's more in love every day. It's honestly weird in the best way possible. I catch myself waiting for the shoe to drop sometimes just because I'm not used to being treated this way. But there isn't just one. He genuinely just loves me, and it shows in everything he does and says. I did everything you've taught me about not tolerating disrespect or boundary violations and not compromising on my values and morals. I just wanted to put that out there for the listeners that it's hard to do, but I think the results are worth it. Anyway, I didn't know relationships could feel like this: flirty, safe, fun, and supportive. So if you're still healing or waiting for someone, please don't settle. Deb is right. The right person won't make you beg for effort or communication or support or time or energy. They'll make it feel easy every single day. Deb, thank you for what you do. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh, ha, ha. It's so nice to get letters like this because, people be on some drama. Yeah, this is nice. I'm glad. Thank you for letting me know because I rarely get feedback, from people uh, about what works. I hear a lot about what doesn't. So it's nice to see when someone, all this work I put into building this channel, trying to educate women, that somebody took it seriously and they're proof that it does work if you take it seriously and do what I told you to do. Handle yourself as I told you to handle yourself. I'm not trying to hurt you. As you see, I mean, the results will be worth it. But it is hard to do when you see all your friends in stupid relationships and you just feel like, well, I'm lonely and that, somebody's better than nobody. Anybody is better than nobody. That's not true. The women who chose anybody better than nobody are the ones writing these advice letters. So good job. Good job. I wish you much continued happy romance with your new boyfriend. Question number 21. This is a female, 22 to 27. Some issue. At just 25, I cannot find men in my age group who are committed to being child free. This isn't to start a gender war, it's mostly because I can only speak from experience as a woman. I'm not here to negate any experiences that others have had. I made it clear that I'm child free. I do not want children. There's no negation. Men will act as though they're understanding at first, then on the slide, they start peppering me with, well, if I were to have kids, and it's like, oh my God, here we go. I understand people reserve the right to change their minds, but this isn't what this is. It feels like my boundaries are being tested, and sometimes I feel like I'm nothing more than a challenge for them to conquer. It's so hard finding men who are genuine about not wanting children. I'm 25. I already know I'm young and at the point where people say I'll change my mind or ignore it. I've known since 11 that I didn't want any kids. Yeah, but I'm not getting any younger. What must it take for me to find such a guy? Hell if I know. Okay, let's examine this. The brainwashing of women, and I'm going to do a show on this too at some point to talk about how women are brainwashed to look for marriage and children. It is a rare woman that, even today, that can flatly say, I don't want neither one and be happy with that decision. Not feel like she's less or missing out on something. So you feel like that's just think about all the programming that we get from babyhood, right? People give you baby, oh, you gotta be a good mother, you know. They start talking about the little boyfriends and stuff you in kindergarten. You're not thinking about that. You're just trying to get your turn with the blocks, you know, and and play with the Legos and stuff. I mean, you're not looking at a romance at 5 or 6 years old, but people start talking to you, trying to put that into your brain before you even can spell good. So then, well, just think about it though from the girls' perspective. That's what the girls get. Think about the guys and what kind of things some of those cultures get too about carrying on the family lineage, the family name. It's got to be the son. I need a son to carry my family name. So in order for them to do that and meet that expectation, they have to have a kid, and they want a boy. And so they have pressures too, just like we do. It's a little different, but they have them too. So I just want to put that out there. It's not just women that get pressured to have children, and for a reason. So a lot of guys, they succumb to that, or they just loose and easy with their stuff, and they end up having some baby mama drama kind of situation. So, but it's different, I think, for them to admit that they don't want any kids, and their mothers, like, when are you gonna give me a grandchild? And their fathers, oh, we need some heir, and all this kind of stuff. It's really weird. So good luck with that. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I can't say that I've ever met a man who flatly said he didn't want any children. Some of them said might say not right now, but I can't say that I ever heard a man say that he didn't want any. Period. Of course, I'm considerably older than 25. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, girl. You might have to just be like some of the older dudes, get with the older dude. But then again, a lot of them they didn't want kids when they were younger, but now they on the down, they on the downstroke to 50, talking about I want to have a baby. You old grandpa coot, get out of here. You know, damn kid. Question 22. This is a female, 28 to 34. Some of issue. How do you express that you want a relationship without scaring people away? I know. I'm not sure I'm the only one who has this problem, or if it's my approach, or if it's an age thing. But both in real life interactions and online dating seems to be the same thing. If I just let the conversation flow without stating up front that I don't enjoy hookups, the people I talk to immediately jump into nook nook talk and start pushing for that. If I do mention it, then they either stop talking altogether, try to convince me otherwise, or get cagey as though I just want to lock them down immediately and have zero fun. I enjoy dates and nook and taking my time. I just like to have some emotional connection beforehand. What am I doing wrong? If I let the conversation flow without stating up front that I don't enjoy hookups, they immediately jump into nook talk and start pushing for that. If I do say I don't enjoy hookups, they either stop talking altogether, try to convince me otherwise, or get cagey, so I just want to lock them down immediately and have zero fun. Okay, well, I'm not really seeing what the problem is because to me, again, this is the trash taking itself out. If you are just having a regular conversation with a dude and he angles it towards sex talk, well, then and pushing towards it, then that tells you what time it is. That's all he's interested for is looking for anyway, no matter what they put in those profiles. Because a man he's gonna a man who's respecting a woman who's really looking for something serious is not gonna talk to you like that. Okay, so that's all you need to know. I don't understand why this is so hard for you girls. What he said in his profile, I don't give a fuck what he said in his profile. What is he doing? And what he's doing is showing that he's trash, he's garbage. So then you go and then you say, well, if I do say I don't enjoy hookups, then they stop talking altogether. Okay, that's fine. Try to convince you otherwise. That's not fine. That's like not taking your no. Or they get cagey as I want to lock them down immediately and have zero fun. Okay, so they thinking that you want to like get married and all this old stuff here. I don't know what to tell you. You don't need to express that you're trying to have a relationship. Otherwise, why would you be on a dating site? But what you do, you have to have your boundaries. You have to have your standards. So if you're talking to a guy and you guys are having a regular get to know you conversation, and he starts bringing some getting up under your clothes and talking about something intimate, you don't even need to say goodbye. You just hang up the phone, or if you're texting, you just go to the block and just block him. You don't talk. You don't need to explain yourself to men like this. You just take action to remove them from your world. Okay? You don't have enough sense to act right, talk to you like you got some sense and respect you in some kind of way, then you don't need him in your world. Now, if you say you don't enjoy hookups and they start pressing you to change your mind. Again, that's someone who you don't want to be bothered with. That's a man who's not listening to your not respecting your boundaries, and he's not listening to your no. He wants you to do what he wants you to do. Again, you go on your phone and you block him. You don't need to say, "Well, I'm not, I don't like this." I'm like, well, do you guys want to give the men a lecture and stuff and try to tell them what they should do and educate themselves? Save your words. They don't care. They already know that. They weren't born this morning. You think you tell them some shit they don't know. They already know that. They did it because they wanted to see if you was gonna be down with for the okey doke. Okay? So you're not doing anything wrong. You're just going through reading out the trash. It happens. Question 23. This is a female, 22 to 27. Sorry, issue. Why is ghosting the new normal? After several failed talking stages and situations, I've come to you to question why people ghost. There's a whole video, I think it's two videos on the channel about ghosting. You're probably not going to like my answer, but just go to the thing where it says search this channel and type in ghosting and it'll be right there. I was recently ghosted by a talking stage that was starting to get serious. He claimed he liked me while he was slowly fading me out. Even on the day he ghosted, he said he liked me and that we should communicate more. So don't go by what they say, you go by what they do. I keep telling you that. When I did try communicating, asking why he hasn't been speaking to me in days, I was then blocked on all social media and ghosted. He had previously expressed to me that he was hurt by people in the past as he had been open up to them about things but never worked out and was worried that I'd lose interest. He also knew his communication was not the best, so maybe that's why. I'm keen to hear your thoughts on this. I don't have no thoughts. Oh, oh my God, you girls. Okay, why is 22 to 27 age group women so dumb? It's like, come on now. I mean, I don't know, everybody don't have to be born in the hood and have street smarts and stuff, but just by looking at the behaviors of what's going on around your friends, being observant, looking at stuff online, you should be able to know at least half this stuff. You should be able to interpret someone's behavior and language towards you to understand what's going on. Nobody should have to hold your hand and you this old. This makes no sense. He claimed he liked you, but while he was slowly fading me out. Okay, so you notice he was fading you out, but his words were saying that he liked you. Which one do you believe? You're supposed to go by his actions, not his words. Okay, but you guys, you get caught up on the words. So then he said he liked you and that we should communicate, but he was fading you out. You said you noticed that. You put it right here in the letter. So it shouldn't have been a surprise that he was ghosting you. Then your dumbass is gonna double down and ask him why he hasn't been communicating with you. Do you know why he blocked you on everything? Because he thought this chick is stupid. She gonna ask me why like she don't know? Go and look at that video about ghosting. Well, like I said, it's two of them. One, the original one, and the second one is explaining more about the first video by people who complained about the video. And I shot down their responses. So the first one, it looks like a horror movie. It's got a spooky, like ethereal kind of cover on it. But anyway, just look for ghosting and you'll find it. I know it's not just that age group, but it is tonight. So that's what I'm going by. Question 24. This is a female 18 to 21. Summer of issue. Was I wrong for ignoring my ex's mom when she texted me? I'm 21 and I was dating a 21-year-old guy. We broke up in July of this year due to me not feeling supported during a really emotional time of my life. My grandmother was hospitalized for a broken hip, and I would stay with her overnight for days and weeks at a time and during that time he wouldn't communicate with me as I thought he thought I needed space. I ended up by saying that I understand his reasoning, but at the end of the day, I would have liked that he communicated. He would never communicate how he felt, but would instead ignore me to play video games since he said he didn't know how to talk to me. I thought that since we were broken up, I wouldn't have contact with his family. I was wrong. His mom texted me about 3 weeks after the breakup saying that she wants to call me and if I could call her because she had something she wanted to talk to me about. I ignored her text because I did not feel in the mood to talk to her, but the guilt is kind of getting to me now. I'm wondering if I am just being immature for ignoring her and not calling her back, even though we were broken up at that point already. What do you think? I don't know if it's immature. It's just you just want to be bothered. You don't want to be bothered with him, his mama, his dog, his daddy, his brothers, his sister, his auntie, his friends. You don't want to be bothered. You want when a breakup means you split from any and everything connected with him. Now that's you could text his mother that it's like we're broken up, and I would prefer that did not have any contact with anybody associated with that idiot, and then you block her. Mhm. After you see that she read it, because it shows the little check mark. On my phone, it shows a little check mark to let you know that the person read the text. And then you just block her so she can't call you no more. I don't know what I would have done if one of my ex's mothers tried calling me. Oh no, this one did one time. Oh yeah, but she didn't text me. This was before texting, so I was still in college, living with that idiot. And he brought his drug addict ass friend to the house. Oh, this was cousin, I think. Anyway, the boy was supposed to be in a rehab center, and he busted out the rehab center and got on the bus and came to our house, right? And so I was like, because I knew the story because the sister had told me the story, right? So I knew dude was supposed to be in the home, and he at our house in Houston. He came from Dallas, and so I was like, hmm. So this kid, he had stole like a whole bunch of his mother's jewelry, like her diamonds and stuff, and gave it to the dealer. He had stolen her Mercedes and given it to the dealer. They give it back, they use it for a couple of days to do some drops and stuff, and then they give you the car back. They don't want it. They just rotate cars like that, so they always in a different vehicle when they pulling up. And so he came to our house, right? And so I'm sitting there. I come in the house from work, and I look at the dude. I'm like, "What's he doing here?" And so Honey's like, "Oh, well, he came to visit." I said, "Oh." So I, went and that changed clothes. So I came back out. I said, "Oh, I'm not going to use his name." I'm like, "So how did you come to be way down here in Houston?" And he's like, "Well, something made up as excuse, but I already got the scoop from the sister." And so I was like, "Okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you stay for dinner." Because Honey's like, "Oh, he gonna stay here a few days." I'm like, "No, he ain't gonna stay here. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna let you stay for dinner, and then after that, you got to get the fuck up out of my house." And so Honey's like, "Well, this is my house too." I said, well, let me explain how this gonna go. When I come into my half of the living room, I don't want to see this motherfucker. Do you understand me? If you don't like that, you could get your shit and go with him. But so he going somewhere, but it ain't gonna be here. So I made him pull out his credit card and he got would check the cousin into a hotel and everything. And see, I was inspired by 50 cents to be a savage. But it's like, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. So, boundaries are very important. What you will and will not accept from people uh, are important. And so both mothers, his mother and Honey's mother, they were sisters. They found out that I threw dude out, and then they called me. They called me on the phone, and they're like, "Oh, we understand you threw, my nephew out." I said, "I sure did." And they're like, "Well, you can't do that." I said, "Yes, I can, because it's my house. And all the shit up in here is mine." And so the stuff, like if he starts stealing stuff to take to the pawn shop and stuff, it would be my stuff because your son don't have shit. It's all this stuff like the stereo and the TV and all that stuff was mine. And so if he steals some shit, it's gonna be my stuff. Are you gonna replace it if he takes it? Well, no. I said, then that's why he can't stay here with his thieving ass. He gonna be stealing $100,000 worth of your jewelry, and you think he gonna stay here with me? No, it's not gonna happen. His mother was balling. She used to work at Kodak or something. She was balling, and so I'm like, oh no. Mm-mm. And so then I just had to tell them about themselves. And if you want your your thieving ass drug addicted son to be somewhere safe, then you come get him and put him in your house. Well, of course, that wasn't going to happen. And so they decided to just leave me alone. Oh, yeah. Uh-uh. That's the only time I had an altercation with somebody's mama. But yeah, you just send her that. If you send anything in there, I just block her. Question 25 of 30, female, 22 to 27, summary of issue. Am I a negative employee for not wanting to be the fun person at work? Hey, Deb, I need some perspective on this. I work in a laid back office environment, and there's this unspoken expectation that everyone should be fun and upbeat all the time. We have these mandatory team building activities, and there's always pressure to participate in office banter and jokes. I'm just not that person. I'm quite introverted and I prefer to keep my work life professional. I'm still friendly and I get along with everyone, but I don't feel the need to be the life of the party or constantly crack jokes. Lately, I've been getting some side eye and passive aggressive comments from my colleagues. They act like I'm a killjoy for not fully embracing the fun culture. Am I wrong for not wanting to force myself into this mold? Should I put energy into getting out of my comfort zone for the greater good? Will this hurt my job prospects in the future? This is my first job out of college. Well, let me put it this way. I'm gonna be honest. It's your first job, so chances are you're not gonna be there. Like it's not your career or anything. It's just a job. So you can get away a lot more at this stage when you a junior level employee than you would if you were like more entrenched into that corporate environment. So what you can do, you can when next time they have a company, a gathering or something, do the preemptive strike. You're gonna go and say, you guys, I really envy how you guys can laugh and joke and stuff. You're gonna flip the script on them. See, because right, you're gonna flip it so that they feel sorry for you instead of seeing you as a problem. And this is how you do it. So you sit there, you guys having this little meeting, this little group event or something. You say, you guys, you're gonna put your little wistful face on. You better practice it in the mirror. And then you're gonna look at them and say, oh, I just really wish I could be like you guys. You guys seem like you have so much fun and laughing and joking and stuff. I just can't do that. I'm just way too shy. It's like painful for me or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit on the spectrum. I don't know what's going on, but I just can't do it. But I just admire you guys doing it. I just enjoy listening to you and looking at you, laugh and joke and stuff and joke around and all that. And then they'll say, oh, poor baby. And then their whole attitude towards you will change because instead of seeing you as the problem, you cop a plea, right? You're envious. You wish you could be like them. You look up to them. You admire them. You wish you had that ability, but you don't. Oh, that's how you do that. Well, yeah, but you have to do it. Okay, you have to do it in a way that it's basically it's just game, but you have to do it in a way that's going to make them feel like they're helping you by you get it, it's just going to change their perspective of you is going to change once you do this. They're going to feel sorry for you and try to help you along and be more gentle with you and way more patient with you because you done explained yourself versus if you just keep being quiet over there in the corner and they build up resentment because you don't fit in. You have to cop a plea for why you don't fit in and how you wish you could fit in and how envious you are that you can't fit in. That's how you have to do it. It's game. How many years have I worked in corporate America? Since I was 16. Tell you, just do it that way. You'll be fine. Do it that way. Yeah, I mean, when I be on jobs, I be that person well, sometimes when I'm in the mood. If I like to, because I used to get in trouble because I would be around, I got to go around everybody's desk and visit. And I used to do that in school too, in elementary school. They'd be like, "You do too much visiting." Like, yeah, but I just want to know what's happening. I got to check everybody out, see what's going on. It's not like I want to be laughing and joking all the time. I just nosy. Just want to see what's happening. You have to write in for recognition. Yeah, well, see, then write in for that little shy person. Oh, so and so is just so shy and everything, but they're such really a nice person and they're really a part of the team and they're an important part of the team. All that kind of stuff. Just do it that way. Okay, so you won't be seen as negative then. They're thinking by talking to you gently and not ragging on you that they're helping you. Question number 26. Female 22 to 27, summer of issue. I slapped the sparks out of my boyfriend after he whipped out a belt on me. My boyfriend is 23 and I'm 25, and we got into an altercation this morning, and I have no idea how to react and if I'm in the wrong. My boyfriend is a goofy guy and has been nothing but sweet to me, but he can take things too far sometimes when he starts joking around. He doesn't always listen when I tell him to stop. Oh, that's not a good sign. We had just woken up not too long before I noticed some leftover brownies that I baked for him last night that I decided to sneak a little piece from. He came into his room and saw me eating a small piece and jokingly told me that I can't do that and started jokingly reprimanding me. He grabbed the belt from the closet and started walking towards me while holding it up like he was going to hit me. Wow. I got freaked out and told him to stop multiple times and told him that if he touched me with it that I would slap him. I gave him the warning a few times while clearly freaking out, and he decided to start tapping me with it against my leg. Okay, so you told him no, and he don't do it anyway. See, I don't deal with men like this. I didn't react till he grabbed me to probably turn me around, and then I kept and slapped him across the shoulder until he let go of me. He got so confused and upset that I reacted that way. Fuck that motherfucker. I'm still shooken up and I have no idea what to think. How I reacted uncalled for? Nope. Okay, this is the thing. Stop questioning yourself like this. This man intentionally went to get a belt, which is a sign of somebody who's about to commit violence upon your personage. Okay, there would be no need for him to get that if he there's just no need for that in any way, shape, or form. Then he gonna come up to you, told him don't hit you with it, don't do it, or I'm gonna do this and that, right? And he did it anyway. Then he put his hands on you to turn you around so he could do he's happy he did on your legs. See, that's what I would kick up and kneed him in the groin. It's like I told you not to touch me. But see, I'm violent. And you was right in the kitchen too. I would have reached for the nearest butcher block of my knives and put it up. You touch me with that belt, I'm gonna cut you in your fucking guts. Okay, well, I'm not playing with you. You don't do anything to me that even remotely resembles anything violent. You have lost your damn mind. And then I would proceed to stab him. If he hit me with that belt, I was spoken right in the stomach. And then I mean we both he'd be at the emergency room and I'd be in the jail. But it's like I told him he was threatening me with that belt. He already hit me with it on my legs. And I told him to stop and he didn't stop. And then he was trying to turn me around. And when he turned me around, that's when I stabbed him. Because I felt like he was getting ready to really attack me. I was defending myself. And it would be true. Because she told him numerous times to stop. And he did not stop. So anything that she did to him after she told him to stop and he didn't stop and he proceeded to hit her, that's all bets are off. So what does that mean for this relationship? Now you're probably not going to want to hear this, but this man is not the one. It's not the situation for you. If he would do that about a corner of a brownie, what would he do about something else? The fact that he felt this is okay to do that to you is the foundation now for your relationship about physical contact and violence. It has been laid right now. It's gonna go nowhere but up from there. Is this something that you want? You got to be slapping people and all this kind of stuff to get them to stop hitting you. See, that I would have got myself and been out. Boop. We done here, sir. This shit here right here is over. No. Yeah, if I don't shoot you, I'm gonna stab you. Something bad is about to happen. You're gonna be bleeding in one way or another. You're gonna be ventilated in some kind of way. Do not be putting your hands on me. And when men hit you, I mean, what they think is a tap. They have so much muscle that they should be leaving you all bruised and fucked up and stuff. I had a boyfriend. I was trying to leave his house. Right, we had an argument. I was trying to leave, and he didn't want me to leave. He wasn't trying to trying to hurt me, but he was grabbing my wrist like this. He's grabbing my wrist, and I'm pulling, to try to go out the door, and he's pulling to try to pull me back in the house and have me sit down. My wrists were so fucked up. I couldn't use my hands for like days. It was all black and blue here. So that's not, and plus I have my brothers, they do martial arts and boxing and all this stuff. So I mean, dudes, they just have so much upper body strength. And so when what they feel is just a little bit of pressure, a little whack, is some shit that might break a bone in a kid or leave real serious bruises on a woman. So that's why men should never play like that. Don't play with violence on people unless it's another dude that you know can handle it and you all do that together in a ring or something. But with women and children, men should never play. You don't play fight with women and children. You don't do that because they'll be seriously hurt, if not, critically injured, and your ass to be in jail because you could baby Huey with your big ass strength. Now this question 27. Oh, we almost at the end. She's 28 to 34. Hold on a sec. So I'm having issues. Should I break up with my boyfriend just because he doesn't go to the dentist and eats a lot of junk food? That's the only reason. I'm 29 and have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, who is 32, for more than 5 years. He's perfect in every way except for self care. The biggest issue with me is that he has so much dental calc, and even if I told him that I don't want to kiss him until he gets it removed, he still doesn't want to go. The dentist that I go to is right next to our place, and you can literally walk in. And he's saying, "Okay, I'll go soon," but he never does. Same with his diet. He's a bit of a big guy, which is fine with me, but what's not okay is that he keeps eating instant foods. I suggested to him that I would prepare dinner because I usually come home earlier than he does, but he doesn't want to seem like it's something that he wants. He also works until late, and it's difficult for us to have dinner together on weekdays. He's the best company and cheerleader that I could ask for. And I'm so happy to have him in my life. That's why we've been together for such a long time. But it's just so hard to see your loved one not taking care of himself. At the same time, I don't want to change someone just because I want to. By the way, I'm not a hygienic person at all. Like I sometimes skip my shower for 2 days, but I do care about my health long term. Well, I mean, if you're not doing nothing, it's not like you're funky. As much as I would love to help him get out of this, I would also want to set a boundary so that I don't become his mom, which led to this. Um, okay, so dude got dental calc and he eats bad. Well, that's where the calc is, the tartar and stuff is coming from, his diet. Because what scrapes that off is, eating like carrots and apples and, you know, fruits like that that, kind of it it's fibrous and the crunchy stuff, it cleans your teeth and gums. So if he never eats foods like that, then of course he's never gonna and then don't go to the dentist too. Girl, how could you even kiss him? I don't know how you do it. Um, yeah, but I mean, you go every 6 months, at least that's better than nothing, which is what he got now, which is nothing. I'm gonna say this, you don't want to be his mother, but what you do want to do is explain to him, look, I really enjoy being with you, and I would like us to be together for many, many, many more years. But my concern is the way that you eat and the way that you don't take care of yourself, you're going to shorten your life and you're going to leave me a widow before my time. And that makes me sad that you don't want to be here with me, living a life as long as possible, as healthy as possible, like I want to be with you. I don't know what to do with that. Then you just get up and walk away. That's gonna put something on his mind. It's gonna make him think about, wow, why don't I take care of myself? Do I really want to be here with her? Why would I die? I want to like croak and have a stroke or something and just leave her here by herself. I would put it that kind of way. Throw in a couple of tears and say, I think about you not being here and it just makes me so sad. I just don't know what to do. But honey, you're just killing yourself. You're not taking care of your body. It's aging you. You're gonna, just that kind of stuff. You gotta show concern and worry and like you're fearful of losing him. And he's so precious to you and you need him to do better. So he'll be here with you as you guys can sit in rocking chairs and be old together. Not, just paint a picture. You got to pull at his heartstrings. And then, because nagging at them, saying, "Well, you need to do that usually doesn't work with men. You have to find what motivates your dude. And for a lot of them, if they really love you, is the concern, showing true concern about their well-being is what can help, tilt things into your camp. And so, and it's explained to him too that, when you have bad your gums and bad dental hygiene can affect your heart. And so, he could need a heart valve repair. And this is real. I mean, you can look this up on probably Google. I don't know, but about what can happen with the damage it does to your body and your heart valve by having bad teeth and gums, like bacteria. So think about that and think about how you can approach him in a way that's gonna hit him in the heart versus nagging him to death like you're his mother. Let's move on. Question number 28. This is a young lady, 28 to 34. The male's 35 to 41. Summary of issue. Am I wrong for being icked out by my boyfriend's nook fantasies? I just want to start off by saying I'm not about trying to kink shame anybody. I've been dating the same guy for 6 months or so, and he's an absolute gem in every way, but his fantasies have been extremely sensitive topic for us. He is literally into smelling my odors, which was kind of tough to get used to for me, but I've tried my hardest to go along with it because it makes him happy. He wants to sniff articles of my clothing after I've worn them for the day, or sniff me physically, including my hair, armpits, butt, and cooch. I think where our issue started was him asking if it was weird that he liked doing that. I answered honestly, saying it was a little weird, but I'm also a little weird with some things too, so we could just be weirdos together. I was trying to make light of it, but also be honest. I took the word weird to mean not the ordinary, and because none of my previous partners had a thing with sniffing, I considered it to be out of the ordinary. He got super offended by my answer, and when I tried explaining myself, I called it a fetish, which made him even more upset. He insists this is super normal and common, and it's not a fetish. He especially wants to smell my morning breath, and it honestly just personally grosses me out. I don't know how to politely say this. I communicated this letter is just going downhill. I just I communicated I don't like it, but not too long ago, he admitted to trying to time his inhaling during Nook Nook to be in sync with my exhaling, which made me just feel like he was still doing something towards me, which I already said I didn't like. That is a technique in the Kama Sutra. That's not okay. You need to educate yourself about Nookie. When I got upset, he responded with something along the lines of, okay, I'll try just not to breathe while we are having Nook Nook. He will sometimes apologize when things regarding stiffing make me feel uncomfortable, but he will use the apology more as an opportunity to dirty talk me like I'm sorry for wanting XYZ. I'm just a dirty boy. The other issue is, oh, booty things, which I do not enjoy, and I made it clear when we started dating. He was saying things like, well, if we did it, I would start small, which just upsets me because I feel like he's trying to convince me to do something I was clear I didn't want to do. He's also said that he gets off thinking about booty stuff with me, which just makes me even more uncomfortable because I feel like he's fantasizing about doing something to me that I said I don't want done. I don't want to make him feel ashamed about what he likes. Everyone has their thing, and it's all an extremely sensitive topic for him. But I also feel just kind of icked out when he's talking about sniffing my morning breath or frustrated when he keeps bringing up booty stuff. How do I stand my ground without hurting his feelings? Are we just nook incompatible? Well, it sounds like it to me. Because you find everything gross. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you this though. I mean, maybe not to his extreme or as overt as he is about it, but human beings, we smell each other. And it's like, well, like you have a little baby, right? That's one of the things that people always do. Women, they can smell, they know their own kid by the way that the kid smells. You know your man by the way that he smells. I mean, it's just, it's a human thing. We are, after all, animals, just like everything else. Now, you see dogs, they go around sniffing crotches and butts all the time. I guess your boyfriend is part puppy. I don't know what to tell you about that part. I, but the smelling of the smell of someone, and people like to smell, like their hair. Um, I don't know. And guys like you put on body lotions and creams and stuff, and it has a little smell, and even if it's the same scent, it's going to react different with your body chemistry, so it'll have a different smell on you, and they like to smell that. Girl, I know about everything, honey. Inside this gigantic head is a wealth of knowledge. That's why I usually have an answer to every question. If you notice, I don't have to pitch around and think about it too hard. I used to read voraciously as a kid and teen, and I told you I just read, just stuff that just don't even make any sense to read. I still read it anyway. And what but for you though, you don't seem very accepting of that. And the part that's bothering me though is the butt stuff, because you done already said you're not interested in that. And see, that's the kind of thing that when guys start expressing an interest in that, you know what I haven't had the problem with. What I suggest people do is tell him you first, and then they have those things that you can strap on, and then then of course after you do it, then you just say, well, I decide I don't like it. I'm really not gonna do it. I'm done. But I hope you had a good time. That was the end of your fantasy. But I'm not sure I would feel comfortable in a relationship with as much angst as you're having. I mean, he might be a good guy, but maybe he's just not the right guy for you. You got to give that some thought, because it sounds like you're on alert, and you're disgusted a lot and confused and just not comfortable around this man. So it's like if that's all those things are going on, how can you be in a relationship with him? You can't relax. Yeah, this guy is weird. He just took it to the morning breath part. That was a left turn for me. I can't do that. Question number 29. This is a female, 22 to 27 age group. The male's 28 to 34. Third issue: should boyfriends charge their partners to move into their already established living spaces? I am 27. I've been dating my boyfriend who is 33 for about 15 months. We care about each other a lot, but we've had ongoing differences around emotional expression and future planning. He hasn't said I love you yet and tends to be very cautious, logical, and slow to commit. I lean more towards being anxious and value verbal reassurance and clarity. From what I understand, he has a dismissive, avoidant attachment style. Recently, we started talking about potentially moving in together. He owns his home and has tenants who cover the mortgage. He proposed that I pay around $900 to $1,000 a month, including rent slash property tax, to live with him. No, you don't pay any property tax. It's not your house. For a comparison, staying with my current roommate would cost me about $500 in rent plus utilities, so the total is similar. On paper, this seems reasonable, but emotionally, it's bringing up a lot for me because he hasn't said I love you and avoids firm timelines. I already feel like I'm in a bit of a waiting position in the relationship. Being asked to financially contribute to his asset without clear emotional commitment or a shared future planning makes you feel more like a tenant than a partner. Oh, he's just using you for your money. And then you get some booty on top of it. I'm not opposed to contributing financially, but I expected moving in with a partner to feel more supportive and less transactional, especially given the emotional uncertainty. Instead, I'm feeling turned off and confused, which surprised me. Am I overreacting to this because of my attachment style, or is it reasonable to pause moving in until the relationship feels more emotionally secure and maybe less money? He makes 110K a year besides the tenants, and I make 60 a year. Well, to me, what would I do for you? I would not move in with him. First of all, look at how you feel in this relationship. What did you say? I'm turned off and confused. He hasn't said he loved me. There's no, you know, emotional commitment. There's no shared future planning. I mean, these are all like the foundations for an adult relationship to move forward. Otherwise, you just having a good time. So if you don't want to just be in a relationship where you're just having a good time, then this isn't the man for you. This is the situation for you. Moving in with him to give up the situation where you are now with your female roommate. What are you going to do? You move in with him and then it doesn't work out, which is not going to because he sounds like a nut. Then where are you going to go? What are you going to do? What you need to do is, if you want to continue to date him, you can certainly do that. Stay your ass where you are. You don't need to move in with some man you're not being married to. I understand all these girls want to pack up and move in with these dudes. And especially when you're gonna have to pay all the same bills that you would pay by yourself, there's no advantage to you to move in with him. And that's what I would tell him. It's not helping me to move in with you, it's only helping you. So fuck you. Shit. Keep your female roommate until you actually walk down the aisle. You know how many letters we get up in here where the engagement is broken like the night before, the week before? I would keep your place. Pay that extra month's rent. It's not gonna hurt you. And if you know that it really happened, or like today, I saw a video. I don't know. I was just scrolling through, laying in my bed, trying to take a rest before the show, and scrolling through and saw a situation where somebody invited the bride's ex to the wedding. And so the bride, people they go up and they have a dance with the bride. So she was doing a little dance with the groom came up and grabbed the bride and slapped the shit out of her right in front of everybody. So then they started screaming at each other. He was mad because the ex was there. But it's like the ex did she ain't married the ex, so why are you tripping? I mean, so they had a dance. She danced with your uncle. I mean, the little dance is the same. She's not doing nothing special with him that she didn't do with the other men that you know that they ain't married to her either. So why are you tripping about just this one person to the point where you're going to commit violence and disrespect her like that? So see, that would me that would have been instant divorce. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you need to keep your thing, keep your house. I would suggest keeping it for 30 days after the wedding, just in case. Just pay that extra rent. Yeah, that practice. See, he's just trying to pimp her, and she's not seeing it. I mean, I think she does. But she doesn't want to believe what she's seeing. That's what it is, I think. But yeah, he told her to pay his taxes too. But motherfucker, not in this lifetime. I'm not paying shit on your taxes. If I'm paying some taxes, I'm gonna file a mechanics lien, and I'm gonna own half of this bitch. That's what we gonna do. So he's stupid. So they both stupid. So, girl, if you fall for this game where you're gonna go in there and pay his more half of his mortgage and put money in his pocket too, and he already makes way more than you are dumb. I don't know what to tell you. I wouldn't be paying shit. Like I said, I'll be scheming. You want me to pay some taxes? Okay. Mhm. Don't say nothing when I file my lien. And you got to give me all my money back when you sell this bitch. Question number 30. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group summer issue. Let me tell you about these dates. I recently tried dipping my toe back into dating after 2 years since breaking up with my ex. I have been hearing stories from colleagues and friends about how much of a nightmare dating was now, and they weren't wrong. I've been on dates with 3 different guys in the last 4 months, and they've all been disasters. The first one would take his face out of his phone and was rude. She must mean wouldn't take his face out of his phone and was rude to the bar staff and wouldn't stop commenting on how big his bed was. Wow. Hmm. The second guy showed up drunk and high. The rest of the story on him was too long on how bad things got. On to the last guys. It was our sixth date, and he seemed lovely and nice and funny and easygoing. We got onto the topic of kids. I know early to be having that conversation, but we are both in our 30s, so it naturally came up. I mentioned that I have pros and, oh, not pros, I've said that says PCOS and endometriosis, so I might find it difficult to get pregnant. Why would you say that? Okay. He kind of glared at me and seemed to get really annoyed about it, saying I should just sort it. I tried to explain to him it's not as simple as just sorting it and tried to be lighthearted and sort of explain. He said he wouldn't have even considered pursuing things if this was going to be an issue. I said I'm not the only woman in the world that has struggled difficulties with this, and even women without it can struggle. I was just floored by the complete change in demeanor and attitude. He then said that it lowered my stock value if I can't produce a child and should have disclosed this on the first date knowing that he wanted children. I sat there flabbergasted and just laughed at him and left and then blocked him. I'm not sad that it didn't work out, wow, but I haven't been able to get the stock value comment out of my head and I'm quite hurt by it. What should I do now? I know this only speaks volumes of him and the information and content he's consuming or just his general archaic thinking. It's not about me specifically. All of this said, it has me completely terrified of trying to date again. Any words of wisdom for me? Well, I don't, I'm trying to figure out how much you talk to these guys before you went out. I always suggest at least a couple of conversations on the phone. You got to do a little screening before you go decide you're gonna pay money to get your hair done and your nails and wear a new outfit and go out and meet them and stuff like that. So should you be texting them for weeks and weeks? No. Mm. Should you be talking on the phone for weeks and weeks? No. But it should be at least a couple of days. Okay. And then you like say you start talking to them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then well, by the weekend you guys should get together. That's that kind of schedule. So that you can actually meet in person. So, but him saying that it lowers your stock value, so that like the only thing, like you just a breed mare, your only purpose in life is to pop out babies. That's essentially what it sounds like he's saying. Anyway, you haven't lost anything with any of these guys. They're all losers. The one who's how big his bed was, cretin, drunk and high, idiot. This one, the sexist pig. So I mean, you haven't lost anything. But I tell you, as a single woman, you're gonna date a lot of frogs before you find a prince. That's just how it is. Am I right, ladies? There's way more frogs out here than there are princes or even dukes. It's just, I don't know. These dudes, it's just this new breed of dude. They just not worth 2 cents on credit, as my grandfather used to say. Can you imagine 2 cents on credit? That's like no value at all. But that's what's his phrase. That's what he used to say. And I don't know. So more and more women are just like opting out. They just don't want to be bothered. And men, they're still throwing that phrase around about, women being single with cats. And, they try to like big up themselves and make themselves feel better about the fact that nobody want to be bothered with their asses. And so, they're trying to make it seem like there's something that we're going to be missing out on. But when you meet a woman who's, like in her 30s and she's been around the block a couple of times, likely been in one or two rather long-term relationships, sometimes has even been married and divorced, they have been on enough dates and been in the presence of enough men to be able to figure out that she ain't really missing nothing. You talk to your married friends and the ones in relationships, and you can see how miserable most of them are. You're not really missing nothing. They give they spend a lot of time, trying to change the man or understand the man or deal with his drama and trauma, and they're not really happy. They're tolerating the relationship and tolerating him and trying to, adjust and compromise to make do, but they're not really enjoying the relationship. They don't feel fulfilled. They're exhausted. They feel overburdened with responsibility, uneven distribution of emotional labor and physical labor. And so, men need to do better because I started that experiment probably about 20 years ago, when I still used to like to rip and run and go in clubs. And guys, they be coming up and they would be trying to holler. And so I'm not going. This is before that thing about what you bring to the table. This was way a long time ago. So it's like we weren't saying that yet. But what I would do is a guy would say, "Oh, you should get with me. I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these things right here." And I would say, "Okay, well, tell me this." Thinking I should get with you. What benefit are you going to bring to my life, and how are you going to make my life better? What would what would be the reason why I would get with you over any of these other dudes up in here? What you got to say? I still wait for an answer. I must have asked because I used to go. You all in the Bay Area know about Jeffrey's Inner Circle? Girl, I was a station. I was at Jeffrey's every weekend, and when I had my singles club, I used to throw a lot of events there because I knew Jeffrey by then, and so I would get the spot real cheap and get the little food and stuff and have singles events. We had little mixer games and all this kind of stuff here. So I mean the club was called Panache for Black Singles. That's what I used to call my singles group. Had events all over the Bay Area. And so I was just dealing with a whole like thousands of men. And that's just in Oakland, San Francisco, Just this area, thousands. And then you count all the dudes, like all my travels and all. I was in LA all the time, DC all the time. I mean, I just never stayed home. And so to sit there and think about all the different men I asked that question to, I'm still waiting for somebody to give me an answer to that question. They don't know what they have to offer. And you ladies try that. Just try that experiment when you go, you on doing this internet dating and stuff, and the guys be trying to get with you. Oh yeah, let's talk to me. Just say, okay, well, why should I do that though? Tell me what's stellar about you. Some of them might get defensive, like some of the dudes with me. They get defensive and say, well, what's so great about you? They want to flip it around because they don't have nothing to say. Well, no, I'll talk about me in a little bit, but let's do you first because I asked first. So, just tell me a few things. What would make a woman just be so excited about being in a relationship with you? I'm sure there must be something, right? I try to sound encouraging and supportive, although I'm doing all this with my nails because I already know they on some bullshit. You know, I, j- but you have to play the game and see what they have to say. And for guys, listen to this. Understand if you are trying to date and you can't answer this question, there's nothing about you that stands out that would make nothing that you offer a woman. There's nothing that you can give her emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially. What can you offer her that's going to make her feel safe and secure and loved? That's what she's looking for. You figure that out. How are you going to deliver those things to a lady? Okay. What kind of commitment do you offer? Family values do you have? What can you do to make her dreams come true? Why would she pick you over any of these other dudes that's trying to get at her? She would pick you though. Why would she do that? You need to have an answer to that question. If you don't have one, then don't. That's why gonna stay single. You have to be above the other dude. And it's not always about your paycheck. It's about what a woman is gonna feel, how she's gonna feel connected to you. When she thinks about you, what happens? Does she smile and just can't wait to see you? Or does she just roll her eyes and hope that you don't call her? Or that she gets a break from you? That she gets to hang out with her friends instead of looking at you? What's going on? Or do you always play video games so you ignore her? So she's emotionally starving, but you feel like, well, I'm happy, so she should be happy too. But you don't really interact with her. She try to have a conversation with you, you grunting at her. You always complaining and bitching at her. There's nothing really keeping her there except her desire for more, her fantasy that you're going to change. So I just wanted to say that because um, it was astonishing to me how many like I'm saying, it wasn't just a few. We're talking thousands and thousands of men over these years that I asked those questions to. All my mixers and stuff, I was asking guys, this is important. You guys are singles. You're here at the singles event. These ladies are here. These ladies are here. They're looking for somebody. Why would she pick you over any of the dudes that's in here? And if you don't have an answer, you need to develop yourself so that you do have one. And on that note, I'm a deuce out, and I will see you all on Sunday. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. I might do something on Friday because usually on the holidays I don't really do anything because my daughter's old. You don't have little kids around the seventh Christmas. It's just not the same. So you don't be surprised if you see me power up and start talking some shit on Christmas. But if I don't, then you guys enjoy your day with your family, your friends. Make your day full of love and wonderful food, and I will see you soon.